Okay, all right. Today we're doing contact management. And
What was the name?
again, I'm not joking. I do a lot of joking in this
Top
class,
producer,
but
thank you.
I'm not joking when I say I'm disappointed we don't have 215 agents in here, because to be honest, that's 215, by the way, that's the number of agents we have with their license placed within the 5 offices. The reason I'm disappointed is, quite honestly, this is the single most important class that I teach. And I think most people look at the schedule and say, oh, contact management, what's that about? I'm not interested in that. You know, we get good attendance with disclosures and contracts and a couple other things, which I think most people think, ah, well, that's important, especially if you're new. Well, I need to know how to fill out a contract, I better get to the contract class. Oh, I need to know how to fill out a disclosure, I better get to the disclosure class. And then you see contact management, you think, oh, well, that's not really important, you know, no big deal. In my opinion, it is the single most important class that I teach. And for most of our agents, it's not even on the radar. And I'm going to say some things, by the way, we're on the tape here, so hopefully I don't offend anybody in the room or on the tape. But the reality is, and I'm not just talking about our agents, I'm talking about agents in general, or anybody in business, or anybody in sales, but I'll specifically talk about our industry and our specific agents. I think we maybe, out of our 215 agents, have 10, maybe 10, I think I'm being generous, that actually have and use a contact management program. Now, we might have 50 that have a contact management program, and even say that they use it, but I'm suspect. I'm suspect on whether they use it. So what we're going to spend, and by the way, same rules apply. We're going to go at least until 4 o'clock today. If you have to leave early, fine. I'll talk to an empty room and talk to the tape for those who are going to watch it on YouTube later. We don't take breaks, so if you use the restroom or take off, just go around the back, go to the restroom, come back in. You don't have to raise your hand and ask for permission. We're all adults here. So, right, so we're going to spend a good 3 hours in this class. We are going to use my contact man, and this is a live, real database, okay? So occasionally something might pop up, which is actually, you know, I'm actually working on it, and sometimes I run across things that I shouldn't, you know, a piece of maybe confidential things fly up, or God forbid, when I go to, let's see how long it takes to find something inappropriate in my email. You know, here's something, I thought I saw something that said skinny secrets. Here we go, exotic something. Oh, it's a car. Okay. Well, anyway, so I'm gonna apologize. I will apologize in advance for any Viagra ads that pop up or anything like that. We all have email. We all know we get the stuff. We just can't control it. So again, sorry. But at any rate, we're going to spend our time in my system. It is a live system. I use this daily. My team uses this daily. It is called Goldmine. For those of you that have spent any time around me and my business, especially if you've worked directly for me, you know Goldmine is it. In fact, I've said many, many times, especially from a staffing standpoint, if you are a staff member within the firm, if you can't use Goldmine, you cannot work here. It's that important, you know, from a technological standpoint. Now, from an agent's perspective, let me see if I can easily pull something up here. I'm going to just pull up the training schedule here real fast. I don't know about real fast, but I'm going to try to pull up the training schedule. Okay, these are the different classes that we train on, okay? We do classes on BPOs, how to do a BPO, business planning, which I think we did the business planning class a little while ago. We have a Fast Start program, which is an extensive program. It's like a 3-day program, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Marketing, management, disclosures, how to fill out disclosures, agency disclosures, transfer disclosures, all the rest of that sort of stuff. Actually, I don't do this class anymore. We probably should revive it. It's an e-neighborhood. Maybe you guys remember the program, e-neighborhood? It's a workshop on how to do that. Escrow instructions, listing agreements, listing presentations, trends, multiple listing, how to fill out a net sheet, how to present an offer, how to read a prelim, how to do prospecting, how to do a purchase agreement, just reports, termite reports, natural disclosure reports, short sale training, foreclosures, class on mold, all sorts of stuff, okay? The single most important class out of all of these is contact management, okay? One of the reasons I point that out is you should, for example, most of you in the room are new. So one of the very first things that you need to do is prospect for new business, okay? And I'm going to back off of that statement a little bit. As long as you are in the real estate business attempting to make a living, a percentage of your day needs to be in prospecting, okay? I don't care how long you've been doing the business. So again, most of you are new, you have no business, you have no listings, you have no buyers, you have no sellers, you have no business. So at this point, almost 100%, if not 100% of your time is to be spent in prospecting. Having said that, don't be under no illusion that after you've been doing this for 10 years and you've got some past clients, that now everybody just kind of walks in and says, hey, let's do some business here. The prospecting is still a big integral part of what we're doing. So when we teach a class on farming or open houses or some sort of prospecting class, one of the very first things I will tell the agents in that class is, oh, by the way, do you have a contact management program? And if the answer is no, then I tell them just time out, stop. I don't want you doing any business unless you have the ability to take the prospect and get them in to some sort of system, okay? Because this is how it works, okay? I send you out and say, here's a neighborhood, and I want you to knock on every single door. And again, you don't know what you're doing. Oh, I don't know what to say. I don't have a script. I'm going to tell you what to say. Oh, I don't have any business cards. I don't care if you have any business. I can't do anything because I don't have any business cards. Why not? What am I going to do? Show up without a business card? Yes. Okay. To me, it drives me crazy when I have a new agent, or even a manager for that matter, that says, oh, well, I can't do anything because my cards haven't shown up yet. Wow. You might as well pack your bag and leave right now. If that's literally the attitude we have, is I can't do anything because my cards haven't shown up yet, you are in the wrong business. Because believe me, having a business card, it doesn't mean anything, okay? And it's certainly not going to instantly, now, is it having a business card and something professional to hand to a client a little bit better than not? Of course it is. But this is what I would rather hear. I would rather hire a new agent and they can, I don't have a business card yet. I say, I want you to go down, I don't have anything. And I said, and they said, Lance, can I borrow your cards? What? Can I borrow some of your cards? Sure you can. Here's 1,000 of them. Knock on the door. Hey, my name's John with Coldwell Banker. I'm brand new. I don't have any cards yet. Here's the broker owner's card. He said I could pass his out. Do you know anybody who wants to buy or sell? Is that better than the alternative?
Sure.
And the alternative is what?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay? Nothing. So, let's use my scenario. I've just hired you. I send you out in a neighborhood. Hello, my name's Lance. You know anybody who wants to buy or sell? Is that the best script in the world? No. Is it better than nothing? Yes. Will you say it a little bit differently on the next door? Yes. Will you make a mistake on the third door? Yes. Will you improve it on the fourth door? Yes. By the time you get to the 100th door, it'll be a little bit better. It won't be perfect, but if you do it every day, I guarantee you, if you've never knocked on a door before, I guarantee you, if you've never knocked on a door before, and you have no instruction from me whatsoever on what to say, and you start off with, and if you do it every day for a month, you will be better at it than 90% of the people in that room behind me that have been in this business for years. Ouch. Why is that, Lance? They've been doing it for 3 years. Because they don't do it. If you knock on 100 doors a day for a month, 3,000 doors, okay? That's a lot of doors. It doesn't get done. So, help me out here. If I sent you out and knocked on 100 doors today, how many people would you potentially talk to? Yes.
20?
Well, you're not gonna talk to 100, not everybody's gonna be home.
20?
20 is probably high, but let's just say it's
Oh.
20, okay? Of the 20, is it possible, how many of the 20 might say something, well, how many of the 20 might say, well, yes, I do know somebody who wants to sell. We were just talking about it, it's the first of the year, and that's
One
obviously what
person.
we want. Okay, maybe 1/2 of 1%, maybe 1/2 of 1/2 of 1%, but somebody's gonna say that, but that's not what most of them are gonna say. Most of them are gonna say no. But a few of them, you'll be amazed how many people will have something that prompts you to call them back or follow up with them again. Well, I'm not ready now. This is why your script gets a little bit better. Hey, do you know any, my name's Lance, do you know anybody who might be interested? I'm in the neighborhood, I sell real estate, you know anybody who might be interested in buying or selling? Well, not right now. What, that implies that, oh,
Potential.
okay. Hey, are you talking about it? You thinking about it? Maybe this year, maybe next? Well, you know, my husband's gonna retire in 2016. And, okay, 2016. Okay? That's a bingo. That's a bingo. We're out knocking on doors. Somebody, which by the way, the goal on knocking on doors, or making phone calls, or sending out flyers, or going to the church potluck, or joining the bowling team, or joining the Rotary, or joining the board of realtors and going to the breakfast meeting. The goal to these meetings is not to go out and find a buyer or seller today. The goal should be is to talk to somebody who says, I think I might be able to do business with you at some point in time. And then we want to take that person and we want to get them here. So if we're knocking on a door and the gal says, hey, yeah, maybe when my husband retires in 2016, we're thinking about it. Now great, and again, your skills will get better as you move forward, but you may just, well, would it be okay if I got your name? Which, by the way, even if they say no, don't worry about it. You know where they live. Can we find out what their name is? Yes. But God forbid we ask them, oh, Mrs. Jones, okay, great. Your first name is Sally, and your husband's name? Jim, okay, great. And would it be okay if I followed up with you at some point over the next couple of years and maybe send you a newsletter? You know, can I get your phone number? Do you have an email? Now, some of these questions are going to get you bam, bam, bam. Has anybody ever been approached by an overly aggressive salesperson? And they asked one too many questions, right? I don't know what your style is going to be. That's not my style. Normally, if you're a good salesperson, you know when you've asked one too many questions. I get phone calls every single day. Normally they're on my cell phone. Mortgage companies, title companies, people want to do business with me. These salespeople amaze me because if I was a salesperson and I called you, and well, let me rephrase it. If you were a salesperson and you called me and I said, you know, I'm interested, but I'm busy right now. Would you please send me an email? And I give you permission to call me back in a couple of days if you don't hear from me. Thank you. Can I just make sure I've got your email address right? It sounds like you're busy right now. Let me leave you alone. Right? And I would want to get off the phone as quick as possible because the client, which is why we're calling them, and honest to God, that is exactly, if anybody wants to go on a car ride with me, jump in the car. If I'm in the car for more than an hour, if that phone doesn't ring and I don't say exactly what I just said, you know what, William, I am interested. I tell you what though, I don't take these phone calls during business hours. Send me an email. If you don't hear from me in a couple of days, I give you permission to call me back. Okay? Okay, great. And it should be, let me get your email, great, I'll email. You know what they do?
They don't.
Well, let me know, but you know what we're doing is we're actually, I'm like, no, I told you I'm busy. No, but let me explain to you. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. So getting back to, you're like, wait a minute, I thought we were talking contact management. It sounds like we're doing a prospecting class. The whole point of this is to get these people in the system. So this person wants an appointment, this person wants me to contact them in 2 years, this person says, I'm not interested, but maybe my brother's coming to town.
They probably can't even believe that you actually were so nice that you said, here.
Well, and by the way, and this is the honest to God's truth, you could call
Nobody
and
does that.
try to sell me horse dung.
And you'll say that, and you'll say,
I very well may be interested in that. I'm busy right now, I don't take these calls during business hours. Would you please send me an email with the information? If you don't hear back from me in a couple of days, I give you permission to call me back. You know how many people send me the actual email?
Not
No.
many. Oh, wow.
Super small percent.
That's
No, and I get it. I get it. Their model is different, and again, you guys have to choose what your business model is. And who sat in the business planning class a couple, 3, 4 weeks ago? Okay, part of the business planning class talks about what is your business plan. Now, part of your business plan may be, I'm not going to knock on 100 doors a day. I'm going to knock on 300 doors a day. And if someone is not ready to list or buy today, I don't care about them. Now, that is not my model. I think that is a poor model.
That's my theory.
But if your model is, anybody wants to buy or sell today? Well, no, but I'm thinking about that. Anybody wants to buy or sell today? No, but I'm thinking of that. Okay? Now again, this is kind of like who's got the phone call from the guys from Zillow or Trulia? Well, hello, Lance. This is Lance from Zillow. There's a zip code that just became available in Moreno Valley, and we might be interested. You might want to buy this zip code. It's going to be someone. You know what? You've caught me with a client right now. I'm a little bit busy. I'm interested. Please send. Oh no. This is only good for today. Because if you don't, I'm gonna, somebody else is going to snatch it up. Well, I'm sorry, I don't do business. Well, hey, click. I'm like, wow, really? And that's honest to God truth. That the sale, the template for that type of sales is, if that client doesn't buy that zip code today, you're done. And that's what they tell you. Oh, I'm sorry, it won't be available an hour from now. I don't even have anything to email you. Okay, now let's get back to contact management. We knocked on some doors. We put some people in here. I have knocked on doors before, and I've done it this way. Oh, John Smith, 2016, retirement. Your name is Sally. Phone number, email. Do I have permission to call you back? Can I put you on my email list? Yes. I've got it here. Do you know how many reams of paper are filled with names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses that these people never get a call back, never get an email, never get any sort of follow-up? They're written on a Post-it note. They're underneath the seat of somebody's car. Has anybody ever done that? Has anybody ever, I did this yesterday. I had a client call me, which is my Achilles heel. I was in my car, and I was driving. The client called me. I was on the other phone. I had 2 very important calls. I could not do both of them at the same time. Probably would have been better off letting the second call go to voicemail, but I saw the caller ID. I didn't want it to go to voicemail, so I called him up and said, hey, Michelle, can I call you back in about 10 minutes? Sure thing, Lance. Flipped over to the other call, went about my business. Did I call Michelle back in 10 minutes? Not because I didn't want to, but there was nothing, not even a Post-it note. I'm driving, got my Bluetooth in, okay? Nothing to tell me to call Michelle back. Now again, you might be thinking, Lance, come on, are you that old and that senile you couldn't remember? Well, when you get busier, yeah, I'm not that old and senile. Well, I might be that old and senile, but I'm busy. I get that phone, and another phone call comes in, somebody's talking to me, I get to the appointment, and then the next thing you know, which is what happened this morning, shoot, I forgot to call Michelle back, okay? So anyway, if you're out prospecting and you're writing names and phone numbers down on sticky notes and by the way, I hate this, I hate it, and everybody here's got it. I hate this, I hate it, okay? This is what we want. Sorry?
You're fine.
This, some sort of electronic media device that says, here it is. It's, and I don't know what you have up on your computer, but if it's some sort of a contact management system somewhere buried within one of those windows, that's what we want. He's got a couple, he's got his own card here. Is Susie in your database?
Yeah.
Then what do you do with this card? You throw it away. See this?
It's okay. I got
You
it.
throw it away. If I need to call Susie Shepard, I'm gonna come up here. By the way, we're doing some work on our server, so this is gonna move a little slower than
It might not come up because I don't think there's E in her name.
No, you?
I don't think so.
So you could take like your smartphone, because you just.
Smartphone's fine?
Because they just have a contact thing. and you
Whatever.
just go here and get your.
Well,
your
maybe,
phone number and your email.
maybe, if your smartphone contact is attached to a contact management system, yes. If it's not, no. okay? Or if you use it as a temporary storage device and you alarm it and say, call Susie, call John, call Smith, and then you come back and then you take that and then you take that data and you put it into your contact management device, then yes, okay? My experience, and by the way, this is fine. Come on, Lance, I don't have a laptop, I don't have an iPad, I don't have a smartphone. I gotta write it down. Man, okay, fine. Then this is the promise you have to make to yourself. At the end of that day, not the next day, not at the end of the week, not at the end of the month, at the end of that door knocking session, and you've got 4 names, stop everything, go back to wherever your computer is, and you put those 4 people in the system, and then you do what I'm going to do with Susie. I've got Susie up here. By the way, before we get into that, let me give you a quick tour of what I believe your contact management system can consist of. Most people think sorry about that. It's basic: names, addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, websites. Susie's contact is a little sparse, which kind of surprises me because I've known Susie for a long time, and I don't have her physical address. So if I wasn't so lazy, when I put her in, I would have got the address, and which by the way is another thing. Let me give you a couple tips. Has anybody heard the term garbage in, garbage out? It's an old computer term which applies today just as much as when they created it 50 years ago.
100 years ago.
Garbage in means if I input something incorrectly, when I try to get that out, which is the whole idea of having a contact management database, is you want to put something in the system so that you can get something out of the system. So for example, if I incorrectly input Susie's phone number, and I try to call her 6 months from now, because she said that's when she wanted me to call her to follow up on selling the house, oops, garbage in, I got nothing out. If I didn't take the time, which I didn't, to put in Susie's address, what happens when I want to send Susie a Christmas card? And I go to print out all my Christmas cards. What does the card say?
Nothing.
It says Orange Coast title Susie Shepherd with no address. Garbage out. Okay. If my plan is to send Susie a email campaign and I don't have her email or I have the wrong email, so in this particular case, good news, Susie's in the computer. Bad news is it's not completely accurate. So if I was following my own rule, I would stop, do a timeout. I would go get Susie's business card out of the trash, and I would put on her address. That helps my database. It's a little bit cleaner. By the way, 68,588 contacts. That's how many contacts I have in the system. 68,000. This is a legitimate database. I live in this database. Honest to God, if I was to retire today, I don't know who would pay me for it, but this is a $500,000 data. In my mind, this database is worth $500,000. Easy. Now, there's not a lot of people out there that would see the value in that, nor would have the ability to pay me that much money, but there's a small percentage of agents and brokers and owners in this area that might say, well, hell, I don't know if I pay $100,000 for it, but it's worth something.
Absolutely.
Because especially when I show you what's in there, okay? And it's 68. That I guess, are some of the contacts junk? Yes. We're gonna stumble across a contact that says Joe with no phone number, no address, no nothing, no ability to make any reference. What's Joe doing in there? I don't know. Somehow, some way, either through me or somebody who works on my team, put somebody in there named Joe, and it's junk. But let's use Susie as an example. We're missing some data here. But again, guys, can you see this okay?
Yeah.
So we've got this. Don't pay too much attention. These are some other little funky things. We've got some tabs here. We've got a pending tab, a history tab, a members tab. All these are important. These are all customized tabs. Is she an investor? No. Property management, REO. Don't pay any attention to those right now. We'll come back to those later. But let's pay attention to the pending and history tab to begin with. The pending tab tells me I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pending, and these are all emails that are in the system that have not been filed yet. Okay? So there's 5 emails from Susie They're just kind of sitting here waiting to be either read or filed or deleted or something. And they're not very current. This is October, this is June, this is May, this is April, this is January of last year. So it seems like about every other month she's sending an email that's not being responded to and not being read. Now you might say, wait a minute, what kind of contact management system is this? Like, you're not reading your email and you're not reading it. Well, you're possibly right. But one of the things that this contact management system has is also, oh, by the way, I'm going to give you some tips on some things you're looking for. Number one, you want a web-based contact management system if possible. It's one of the reasons I recommend Top Producer. Web-based meaning you have an internet connection and you log on to the internet and all the data is stored up in the cloud or somewhere else. Now, if you don't go with a web-based, you can do with a hard or a remote database like ACT or even Goldmine. And that's, let's suppose William had ACT. It was a single user database. It's right there, right here. If he doesn't have that laptop, no access. Okay? And quite honestly, that's probably where most of you will start. Number one, because it's less expensive. And frankly, for one agent with some contacts just getting started, that's okay. Okay? Having said that, if you can afford a little bit more, get a web-based system. Okay? Get a system that is capable of multiple users. Okay? In the beginning, you're not going to need that. You're a single agent. You don't have an assistant. You don't have a staff. Okay? But whatever system you acquire, you want to be able to make sure that you can expand on it. Yes.
Just like Microsoft Office do they have anything that you can create?
No, I mean a lot of people use Outlook. They use Outlook, but that's good for email.
It's not good for real estate.
It's not good for real estate.
It's just not designed for real estate.
It's not right. It's not designed for real estate. No. Let's have a dialogue here. You're right.
What about on Linux? I mean, my husband loves Linux.
I am certain that there is a contact management system that is based on a Linux system. He probably knows better than I do.
Because he could manage it for me.
Yep. It has to be easy though.
He offered to
Somebody
help,
told
yeah.
you that Goldmine's complicated. Goldmine is not complicated. It can be complicated, but it's not complicated. But if you won't use it, you got the wrong one. If it's not super easy, frankly, Top Producer's pretty easy. Top Producer's easy. Top Producer's web-based. Top Producer's relatively affordable. I think it's $25 a month or something like that. Top Producer is expandable, multiple users. You think you had a thought? Hold it for just a second. This email is actually sitting in Janet's box. Janet's one of my team members. I mentioned to you earlier, we want to have, I'm just going to jump ahead here a little bit. You want to have the ability to expand your database to multiple users. Okay? Today, that's probably not on your radar. If you get in this business and you start to have some success, you will start to build a team. And the team may start with an assistant. Hey, I'm making enough money, I can hire an assistant to help me do some marketing, follow up on some calls. So now you've got it. These are all of the people that have access to my Goldmine. There's 32 people on this list. Okay? So Janet is one of them. Now for some reason, Janet has chosen not to file away Susie's email. Now it might just be that this is important to her. Janet got an email from Susie, know the facts about the new 3.8% tax, and Janet just wanted to save that so she could get quick reference. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get back to this and we'll go through the rest of this in a minute. So we've got our content, we've got what's pending, we also have a history tab. Nice part about the history tab is everything that we've ever done between me and my team, which consists of those 30 people that we just listed on the thing, that has to do with Susie is recorded in here in one form or another. So I can come down here, and this was it. Actually, what is this? This is a email that was actually exchanged between Steve and Susie on January 6th at 3:03. Hopefully, this is where sometimes I get in trouble. I show stuff I shouldn't.
I think we're safe.
Okay, so Susie sent something down here. Steve replied back, perfecto, see you tomorrow. Okay, now that email was sent on Monday, January 6th at 4:03 p.m. Now, is it critically important for me to know that Steve and Susie sent a relatively benign, kind of silly email? Probably not. But now let's put this in the context of your client. You're my buyer, you're my seller. We're exchanging some emails. You just approved a price reduction and you just accepted an offer, and we did that in the form of an email, and we did it 7 months ago. Would that be something that I might want to have?
Paper trail.
Paper
even though it's
trail,
on the-
documentation, all the
Yeah.
rest of that. Now, the decision I've made with my contact management system is it's all important to me. The price reduction, the accepted offer, and just the silly, I'll see you tomorrow. Probably 70% of the emails that are exchanged in here are just silly, they're relatively unimportant. It doesn't really matter if I have them in the system or not, but I keep all of them. So, under my history, every single thing that we've ever done with Susie, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, is going to be captured in here. And I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you, that according to this, the first record I have from Susie is really only 2 years ago. So I might have a different Susie Shepherd contact, because I've known Susie for 20 years. And this was an email that I sent her, an email out, which was a looking forward to the great 2012 Happy New Year. By the way, who got an email? Who received an email kind of, actually let me give you a better one, because Susie sent me one. Who received an email a little more similar to this? Either you sent it or you received it. I think she sent a Happy New Year, didn't she? Well, this isn't exactly what I was thinking about, but it's similar to this. A picture of Orange County is going to pop up here in a minute.
Oh, that one, yeah. That's at the pier.
Who got something like this, or hats and horns, or a Starburst Happy New Year? Anybody get anything like that from anybody? Nobody got an email like that? I get hundreds of emails
I
like
got
that.
one from her.
Right from her. No. Come on, guys, let's participate in here. Well, let me tell you, when you get into this business and you start developing a database, around this time of the year, you get an email, and the one I was thinking of would have said 2014 Happy New Year with hats and horns, okay? I've sent emails like that out. I've sent thousands of emails like that out. I've made a change in my business philosophy. As a matter of fact, let me find something a little more obscure. Let me go to Stoners, it's probably a good one. Okay, I just switched contacts, by the way, really quickly. I didn't search it, I just found somebody over. This is a client of mine, Daniel and Judy Stoner. Their source, which is important, we'll talk a little bit more about this. The source is that they're within my property management department. It's important to filter these people. And again, I'm going to talk fast, and we're going to cover a lot of ground. Remember earlier we're knocking doors, and we have 4 people that we decided were worthy of making in our contact management system. The source of that may be door knocking. Okay? When you put those 4 people in, where did those 4 people come from? Well, they came from door knocking. How about later on that day you did some calling, some cold calling? Well, the source for that would be cold calling. Who's in some sort of like a community group or club or social thing? Bowling, baseball, softball, church, whatever it happens to be. Now again, you have to, part of your business plan, you have to decide if, what are you doing?
I played softball.
Softball, okay.
Grove Church.
Okay, let's start with softball. William has to make a decision, and it doesn't have to be hard and fast, it could be a little bit in between, but it has to make a decision. When William's playing softball, is he going to be sales guy William? I work at Global Banker and I'm kind of on it. Or am I going to be just, I'm just here to play softball and relax a little bit, William? Or maybe a little bit in between. Hey, really don't bug me. I sell real estate if you're interested. But whatever it happens. But let's suppose, a different example is church. Okay, it's a little more distinct for people who go to church. I have had completely opposite opinions. I will never solicit nor do business with anybody at my church. I don't care if they come up to me and say, would you please list my house? No. Okay? Now, I've also had people that said, are you kidding me? That's the only reason I go to church. All right? So, but whatever the source is, that's what you want to have up here. Softball team. Softball team 2013. softball team 2014. Maybe that's a different source, different group of people, all right? So at any rate, when I go to Judy and Daniel Stoner, this is who they are. They came from property management. We've got their address. We've got a few phone numbers. We've got an email. Property management owner. By the way, this is also a contact type. I have a source and I have a contact type. Let's go back to our door knocking. Mrs. Jones. Yes, I'm interested. Call me. Okay? Source, door knocking. Contact type. Why exactly did you want me to call me? I'm thinking about selling my house. Ah. Contact type is
Listing?
listing prospect. She's a prospect. Listing. Contact type is a listing prospect. Okay? Now, what if she says, well, actually, we're just a renter here, but we've been thinking about buying. Well, then she's a prospect
Buyer.
She's a prospect buyer. So I've been knocking on the doors, or maybe they say, well, no, Lance, but we own other rental property and we're thinking about property management. Well, then different vernacular you may not be familiar with. Well, then that's a prospect setup, which setup means, in my world, it means we're going to set her up for property management service. Or maybe it's an agent that works at Tarbell. And they're like, hey, you know what? I really like what you Coldwell Banker guys have been doing. Actually, I work at Tarbell. I'm certainly not interested in listing or selling, or certainly with you. But I'm not so sure I'm happy at Tarbell. You guys seem to be making an impression. Would it? You think your sales manager might be interested in talking to me? Now, again, in your guys' world, you may say, well, yeah, sure, call Steve, call Lance. My world's a little different. Well, that's a prospect realtor. And by the way, if you have somebody that does that, you bring them into Steve. We sign them up. We'll pay you.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know what we're doing, give it time. I got to get the cadence down like that. I don't quite have the okay? So at any rate, obviously I don't want to mess this up because this is important. Because if I was to accidentally change this, the next time I wanted to send an email or maybe a Christmas card or something specific to my property management PM owners, which, you know, what's PM? Well, in my world, PM, property management owner, means they own a property that we manage. Very easy for me to identify all of the owners. Let's put it back into our door knocking example. What if you've been knocking doors for a month, like I told you, and you did 100 doors a day, and every day you had one person, nobody listed with you, but every day one person said, I'm thinking about it. Well, they would be a what? Prospect listing. At the end of the month, you would have 30 of them. They'd be written on your nice little spiral piece of paper. Sucks, hate it, no good, okay? But if they were here, you guys know how computers work. How quickly could we find those 30 people? Bam! How quickly could we send those 30 people an email? Bam! Or how quickly could we sit down and say, okay, call the first one, right? Bam! How quickly could we know who we're supposed to call back? Anyway, you with me? Okay, so I know I'm all over the place. We were talking, I was looking specifically for an email. This is a contact, this is an owner, owns a rental. I'm on the history tab, I think. Let's go down to the Stoners and see how long we've been doing business with the Stoners. Isn't that a great name? Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Stoner have been in my database. In my world, this is what I call a born date. A born date, actually really, the real born date, let's go up here. I'm on my summary tab. Creation.
Got another one.
Fanny?
There it
Let it be written.
1 o'clock every day. It was me funny. Me and Vicky were laughing because it was like I log in 1:30 every single day,
Alright.
and she's like, "What if it happens today?" And I'm like, "If it happens today, I don't know." And then I just
Are
logged
you
in.
literally at 1 or just around 1?
1:22.
You should just set your clock for 1 o'clock and
Yeah.
unplug it.
Okay, so we only have to work between 1 and 2 o'clock from now on. We got a new Fannie Mae foreclosure assignment, if you were wondering what that was. We've been getting new Fannie Mae foreclosure assignments starting around the first week of December. We've received, with that, this is 3 this week.
Are those houses we can do open houses on for
Absolutely,
you?
positively.
Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely,
Yes, sir.
Just
positively.
go ask Drew.
No one even is.
Well, I need the address. I need the address. That's all.
Go. Just go. Yeah, just ask. You're not asking. You're gonna say, Drew, I'm holding that house open this weekend. Oh, yeah, and what was the address? The new one you just got. Okay, just do it. But don't you dare hold an open house without a contact management system. What happens when you have an open house?
You get people calling me.
People come in. What do? Which, by the way, they've got some great. What's better to have one of these? I'm not gonna mess up your paper, but would you please sign in? Give me your name, email address. Or is it better to? It's got a cool app on the iPad. Would you please sign my guest register on the iPad? You know, have them do the iPad. Or God forbid, here's my card. Appreciate you coming through. Can I get your name, phone number, and email? You know, people. I got to tell you, when people come, some people. By the way, will some people be nasty and say no? I just come here to say
Yeah.
house. How
Yeah.
dare you guys?
Not nasty.
Are we
but
gonna
just
get
say
hurt?
no.
Oh no, there's plenty of nasty people.
I haven't run across any nasty.
Because you're so
yet.
nice.
You knock on 1,000 doors. Are we all adults here? Have we all heard the F word before? Can I
Yeah.
speak candidly?
Yeah.
You knock on 1,000 doors in the next 30 days, I guarantee you somebody should get the fuck off of my porch. And if you have not had somebody tell me that, you are not knocking on 1,000 doors or 3,000
They don't
doors.
say that to girls.
They will absolutely, girls will say it to you. I'm telling you, now I apologize for being a little vulgar,
That's
and I
okay.
apologize for saying no, but I'm telling you, if that's offensive and that's gonna make you go home with your tail between your legs, oh my God. I talked to 100 people, and I did talk to 20, and not one of them said anything about retiring in 2016, and it was all no, and some of them were mean and nasty, and I can't do this anymore. Wow. If you are even anywhere close to that, you are in the wrong business. You are in the wrong business. Again, if you were at the sales meeting yesterday, we made mention of The Wolf of Wall Street, and again, it's a pretty vulgar, pretty crude movie. One of the things that I loved about that movie, which is frankly some of the things that people find disgusting about that business, is the boiler room calling. Okay, hey, I've got a hot tip, and it's sleazy and it's slimy, and their sales tactics are questionable at worst or at best. Well, in a strange way, we have a very similar business model. Now, you don't have to conduct yourself like that. Matter of fact, we do not conduct ourselves like that. But the concept is the same. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I'm in the neighborhood. You know anybody who happens to want to buy or sell? No. You know anybody wants to buy or sell? No. You know anybody might want to buy or sell? No. You want to buy or sell? No. We're doing the same thing. Now, we're doing it professionally. And by the way, it's not just knocking on doors. It's not just calling. Every time I send an email, which is what I'm trying to go to, every time I send an email blast, I'm kind of saying, I sell real estate. You know anybody who wants to buy or sell? Now, the beautiful part about email, we could knock 100 doors a day if we had to. Matter of fact, if we had to, we could knock 200 doors a day. How long does it take to knock 100 doors on a neighborhood with about a 5,000 square foot lot?
It took me an hour to do 100 homes.
Okay, knocking or just passing out flyers?
No, I was just passing out flyers. I
Okay,
didn't knock
okay,
on any
but
doors.
okay, you did it though. So because again, you're right. If you walk through a neighborhood with about 100 doors, now again, if they're 3-acre lots,
No,
it takes a
they
little
were.
longer.
Is
If these are standard 50 by 100 size lots, and you're just passing out flyers, I believe you, because it takes about an hour to walk through a home.
I
open
didn't
the
want to
door.
walk too fast. It was like 80 degrees out
I gotcha.
already.
That takes about an hour. How long does it take to knock on those doors?
A lot
2
longer.
hours.
How long?
2 to 3 hours.
2 to 3 hours.
I'd say between 2 and 3 hours.
Yeah.
Because this is the deal. 80 of those doors, knock, 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 wait 20 seconds. Knock, 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 wait 20 seconds. And then somebody's gonna answer. Sometimes you're gonna be there for 30 seconds. No, I'm not interested. Oh. Or and then sometimes you're gonna be a little bit longer. Okay? But it takes a couple, 3 hours. So if I said you have to knock on 300 doors no matter, not pass out flyers, knock. Which by the way, nothing wrong with passing out flyers. You'd be amazed. You just hang a stupid little flyer. Don't even knock, because I'm afraid I can talk to anybody. God forbid somebody's there.
I did talk to the people that were outside.
Wait a minute, the screen is open and I hear a TV. Oh no, I'm not going to hang my flyer on that door. Why would I not hang my flyer on that door? Someone give me an honest answer.
Hmm?
I'm walking there and I see the screen door's open, I see someone walking around, and I don't hang my flyer on that door. Why?
Well, if you don't see
Scary.
a pit bull.
No, why don't I do it?
Scared?
Because you don't want to actually.
They're gonna come talk to me! Right? And
gonna
that's
see you.
intimidating. Because you're not ready. Because they're gonna ask you a question, and you're not gonna know the
Answer.
answer, therefore we don't leave the flyer. Is that not real for anybody in this room? You're all superstar salespeople? That was my experience. When I first I was 19 years old when I got into this business, and my broker forced me to go knock on doors, and I did. And I gotta tell you, when they didn't answer, I was like, thank God. In the beginning, okay? I, honest to God, had these where I knock on the door, I wait, okay, they're not coming, and then I'd hear them. You know, I gotta get on the other side of the garage as quick as I can. They'd open the door. I know, but that time I'm around the. And they, hello. I'm walking quietly so they don't hear me. I left my little flyer. Guys, that is pathetic. Can you relate to that a little bit? Because you're either the only one giving me an honest answer, or you and I are soulmates, because that's how I was when I first got in this business. Now I got to tell you, if anybody here feels that way, a little shy, a little intimidated, and all the rest of that sort of stuff, that's okay. You can overcome that, but I'm telling you, the only way to overcome that is to get your ass out there and do it. Because then you'll realize they're just people, some of them are mean. There's people, and you're just gonna, and your scripts are gonna suck. You're gonna say the wrong things, they're gonna ask you a question, you're not gonna know the answer. Oh boy, I should know that. I'm brand new. I tell you what, sounds like you need to get that information. Would it be okay if I got back your name and phone number? When I get back to the office, I'm gonna ask my sales manager and I'll call you back with the answer. Now that may be an embarrassing thing to have to say, because, oh geez, I should know that. But you're out. I have this term we're engaged. We're playing the game. You're out in the game. If you're not in the game, you're never going to win the game. So, I want to get back to this email. I'm on the Stoners. I got a history. I was going somewhere. This is why my classes take so long, because it takes me 2 hours to make one stupid point. I'm looking for an email, and again, they had a born-on date of somewhere back in 2001. By the way, Mary sent them some information. Kristen sent them some information. Betty sent them information. None of these people work for me anymore. Okay? But, depending upon what it is, this was an action. This wasn't an email, this is actually an action. Between Betty and Mr. and Mrs. Stoner, left owner message, tenant would like to paint the exterior. She will provide the labor if the owner will provide the paint. Left message and requested owner approved exterior paint. Tenant needs to keep the same colors, the wood trim only. Notify owner, they will paint yada yada yada. Is this important information?
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit more important 13 years ago. But I gotta tell you, that's important. That's important for me today. Because that tells me a couple things. Number one, it tells me we've been managing these people's property since 2001. Winner. That's tough to do. That's tough to do. That's what, 13 years? Most people can't stay married that long. And managing someone's property for that long is a miracle. Okay? But it also tells me that you've got an owner who communicates and they're willing to let tenant do repairs, which, to be honest with you, we kind of have a policy against that sort of stuff. But back then we were doing it. So now we've got an action. What I'm looking for, and hopefully I can find it without too much more time. I normally send an email out near the end of the year. I think I showed this one.
Oh, yeah.
Don't pay attention to the typo. That's
Yeah,
not
I
really,
remember that.
that's not the one I was looking
Yeah,
for. That's a little.
yeah.
Which, by the way, you guys got it yet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have moved. That went out to about 32,000 people. I was so proud. And then the next day, I don't know, maybe they did it. Let's see if the Stoners reply back to me on that. No, it doesn't look like they did. Oh, well, we sent them another one. You're invited. Some of my clients sent me way back, said, congratulations on your move. You might want to try the night school for English and grammar composition down the road. Right, this is the email I was looking for, I think. Yeah, it's interesting that I haven't seen this.
Ads premium for real estate.
Much Heartland stuff. Bear with me. If I don't find it in the next minute or so, we'll move on to the next topic. But I'm just going to share how my business model has evolved, changed just a little bit. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. Oh, come on. Actually, it's not what I'm looking for. Okay. I used to send the email with the splashy stuff with the hats and horns. Something's happened in the last several years called spam. People are sick of it. Okay? When we send an email out that kind of looks like that splashy, like we spammed people, they hate it. Okay? Even though it's a nice, classy piece, but we hate it. I don't send those type of emails out anymore if I can avoid it. I'll send an email out, which is very simple. A short little note to my client. Looking forward to a great 2012. Happy New Year, Lance. Now, when I sent this out January 12th of 2012, which by the way, I never send these emails out in the month of December. What happens in the month of December with these emails? Everybody sends them out. Especially on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, yada, yada, yada. Happy New Year! There's nothing worse than cleaning out your email box. Who's the next son of a bitch to send me one of these emails? And I always wait. And I do. And by the way, I'm due. Everybody in this room, assuming I have your email box, you're going to get an email from me sometime within the next week. It's not going to be flashy with popcorn and hats and horns and a big image. It's going to say something like this. Hope you had a great 2012. Looking forward to a great 2013. If I could be of any help to you in the coming year. Again, I got to be careful because I have a lot of different type of clients in here. I want to send this to my entire 68,000 people in my database, of which about 34,000 people have valid emails. One of the reasons I want to send it is because of the 34 people that I think have valid emails. What happens to people's emails over the years?
They change.
They change. I get bounce backs. I get all sorts of stuff. So at least once a year, normally twice a year, I'll send an email out like this for a bunch of reasons. Number one, by the way, if you know the answer, you're not allowed to answer. How's that sound? If you know the answer, you're not allowed to. Okay, forget I just said that. What am I doing here today? You weren't in my last training class. What am I doing here today? What are we doing?
Training.
Training,
Time.
right? Training. I'm the trainer, you're the student,
Yes.
right?
Correct.
Wrong.
Retention. Don't say it.
What's that?
Oh, I thought it gave me permission
I
to.
am prospecting and I am retaining. I am prospecting and I am retaining. Who does not have their license hung here yet? Prospecting. I'm prospecting. You think I'm training you.
Oh, I see.
And this has nothing, for me, this has nothing to do with training. I want you guys to think, this place is great, man. Lance is a great trainer. Which maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I am a sales guy. I don't get paid to train people how to sell real estate. I get paid on an operation, real estate operation, list and sell real estate. And part of my business model is to bring new people in to join our team to list and sell. If you list and sell and you're successful, then I get to get a piece of your piece. Training? It doesn't say real estate school up front. I'm prospecting. And for those of you that are already licensed here, I'm retaining. You've decided to come to this office. One of the things that I need to do to create value for you to stay here is to provide some training, provide an office, keep the carpets clean, put toilet paper in the restroom, for sale, all that sort of stuff. So the same thing when it comes, are we knocking doors? When we're out knocking doors, what am I doing? I'm not knocking doors, I'm prospecting. I'm looking for buyers, I'm looking for sellers. The same type of analogy. Now again, let's use William's softball team. Maybe William could care less about softball. Okay? He's there to prospect. Let's use the terrible one I just used earlier. I don't care about church. Come on, man. I'm there to prospect. Okay, now obviously that's terrible. But let's use the Board of Realtors. Let's use the Kiwanis Club, the Rotary, the whatever you're involved in. Now, part of the reason you may be a member of the Rotary is because they do great things and you're happy to be involved with their programs. But the reality is, one of the reasons people involved in the Rotary is for what reason?
Networking.
Business, networking, okay? So, without that, you've got to have a contact management system to plug that in. Okay, so let's go back through. And again, how far are we into this? Oh my God, an hour, we haven't even started yet. Okay, so our contact management system, name, address, phone numbers, got it? You have the ability to put some sources on it. By the way, you also want the ability to do multiple sources, because your property management owner may also be something else to you. Maybe they own a property that I'm managing, but maybe they also have a house that I have listed. Maybe I've already sold a house from them. Maybe I play softball with them. Maybe I play poker with them. Maybe they're friends and family. Okay? For example, let's pull up my mother-in-law. By the way, this is also really nice. This is handy when it comes time to do Christmas cards within the family. Now, this is my mother-in-law and my father-in-law, and my sister-in-law was the other one. Friends and family. So if I want to quickly know who's in my family, I can source this and boom. If I want to print out a mailing list or something to my family members, boom. It's done. Super, super quickly. There's another area over here. Okay. Okay, this is a buddy of mine. I have multiple contacts with. This is just a different view of the same thing, so don't focus up here so much, focus down here. With my buddy, he is a client who is actually one of my wife's clients. He is one of 4,060 people that my wife do business with, okay? She's in a special group for Julie. He is a property management owner former. In other words, I used to manage a property for him. He subsequently sold it, so I no longer do. He's also a poker player. He's one of 8. I have 8 guys that I play poker with. Anybody want to play poker with me?
Not for money.
What about girls?
You want to play poker?
I play poker. I do. No, I do play poker.
He
been a
might be
while.
out of our league for
Oh,
part.
no,
Yeah, I
Have
probably
you ever
could.
played before?
I
Oh,
bet she
yeah.
has.
Oh, yeah.
And we might not want you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Karen, here you are. Actually, your license is officially here, right?
Oh, yeah, since
Ooh, okay,
September.
we made a couple mistakes here. Okay, well, let's, and by the way, don't be offended by the leftover label. This is Karen Baker, right? This is you? Is that your phone number?
No.
We got more than one Karen Baker, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we got 2 Karen Bakers. Hold on a second. Ah,
Multiple.
you
Yeah,
have
that's me.
There's another one of you out there.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, the other one, I won't bother you with that. Okay, so here you are. You are, in my world, you're in my database. You are an agent who works in the Marina Valley office. If I want to identify, again, go back to our door knocking. If I want to identify all of our prospect listings, and I want to send them an email, I want to call them, I want to do whatever, then I search them. If I want to identify all of the agents who work in the Moreno Valley office, you are one of 81. I can send you an email in about 3 seconds. I can isolate you in about 3 seconds and start calling all the Moreno Valley agents. I can look at you. I can see what we have. You are also part of the larger Coldwell Banker family, all. I said earlier there was 215 of you. Now, there's 215 agents, but when you add staff and all the rest of that, you are one of 249. Very easy for me to identify the entire company. You are also an October agent appointment. You were one of 9 appointments that Ingrid set up in the month of October. Did you know that?
I didn't know how many appointments she set up.
Of course you didn't, and you didn't know you were one of 9, but that's important to who?
You.
Me, Ingrid, and Steve.
Mhm.
Okay? You are also one of 4 agents that actually decided to come work for us in the month of October. How do I know that? Because it says October agent hired, 4. Now again, that's not relevant to you, but it's relevant, this is all contact management. Okay? Let's go back to our door knocking. We knocked 1,000 doors. One person a day said, I'm a listing prospect. We make them a listing prospect. Over 30 days, we now have 30 of them. What's going to happen, hopefully, to one of those 30 people? They might turn into a listing appointment, right? So now maybe you switch them from listing, from an agent appointment to an actual hire, or in this case, I now have a listing appointment. Out of the 30 people that said they were interested, 3 of them actually turned into appointments. And by the way, this is also extremely helpful for business planning. If I knock on 100 doors every day, this is how many people say I'm interested, this is how many people turn into appointments, and then of course, then we want the big one, this is how many people actually
Okay, see ya.
list. So now I could say she was a prospect, she was an appointment, she listed, right? Now, we're chatting it up. We find out that not only is she a good client, she also likes to play poker. Now you're one of 9. You're in the tree of trust. The next game is the end of the month. So now, if I want to sit back and with
Depends
my
what your buy-in is.
with my 9
Bring your wallet.
with my 9 poker players, let's check this out here real quick. Somebody stopwatch. Give me a stopwatch quickly. Ready? Let's play
Ready.
poker. February 2. Who's in? Okay, let's keep the typing away. Oops, sorry.
Oh, so you just find your 9 poker poker contacts and just
Poker
it
player.
automatically emails all 9 of them.
Cute. Stop.
23 seconds.
23 seconds. Okay, now I didn't actually send that email out. Oh, maybe I did. Oh, actually, I did. It's queued. Unfortunately, 5 of my 9 players don't have a valid email. Okay? But Alan, Brian, David, and Karen do. So in 24 seconds, 3 seconds?
23 seconds.
23 seconds, I now sent an email to all my poker buddies and say, hey, you want to play poker February 2nd? How hard was that? Now, let's take it to a different level. I've been knocking on doors. After a month, I got 30 people that said I'm a prospect. And you said, and by the way, there's nothing wrong, guys, in my opinion, you guys may feel differently. There's nothing wrong with a simple email. Okay? Nothing drives me crazier than walking through that bullpen and seeing people creating this elaborate flyer with pictures and details and fancy stuff. And I normally, if I see you do that regularly, oh, that's nice. And then I walk by the next day and you're working on the same flyer, and or a week later you're working on a different flyer. I say, well, what business exactly are we in? Graphic design? Or we're trying to sell real estate? Because you do a great job making flyers. But I would prefer that you're out. Okay? Same thing with emails. Hey, January, people I've talked to. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I don't know if you remember me, but I knocked on your door the last 30 days and you said you were interested in possibly listing or selling. I'm just checking in with you. Click. 23 seconds. Done. Right? Super, super simple. And you can get extravagant with it. You can put dancing bears and all sorts of funky stuff like that on there. Not necessary though. So when you get these groups together, get rid of this. This is in my inbox, by the way.
February 2nd is the Super Bowl, by the way, Lance.
Uh-oh, probably not going to play there. So I'm going to delete these.
And you're not going. I'm just kidding.
Let's get him out of here.
Oh, ouch!
Did you get that one? I'm a Packer fan. Go ahead, rub it in.
Twist the knife.
I'm a Niner fan. Woo, we won, we won.
He deserved it.
Okay, let's talk commission.
He deserved every bit of it. So, anyway, so these filters and groups and all these little tags as far as who you are and what you are. And again, the reason I wanted to show, I apologize, Brian's doing a backup on our server, so things are moving a little slower. But all of these little tags of who our poker players are, it was very simple. I mean, very quickly, you now became one of the 9 poker players, and all I did is boom. Now again, did it take a long time to set this up? Of course it did. By the way, I've been in this database for 19, 17, 18 years. I got a lot of stuff in here. So, but you could just as easily come off the poker team. Yeah.
How often do you go through it and weed it out?
I live in this. I live in this program. Let me get to the good news and the bad news of contact management. The bad news of contact management is if you are not in your database all the time, you probably don't really have a legitimate database. So that's the bad news. The good news is if you live in your database all the time, you're going to have a legitimate database, and it truly can become. I think there's probably like 12-step programs for people to detox off of this type of stuff. Who likes Facebook and spends a lot of time on Facebook just browsing around? Can that be a little almost addicting?
Yeah.
I know people that I hate it, to be honest with you, but I know people. My wife, I at times find myself going through the news feed for some stupid reason, but my wife, for one, is honest to God. If you truly have a legitimate database, this can be more intoxicating than Facebook, because this is what you're doing. You're going through, which, by the way, let me finish this and then you'll kind of see where I'm going with this. So again, this is Karen. Let's summarize the contact tab. Who are you? Where do you work? Ah, there's no source here. Oh, goodness gracious, that's a faux pas. The source should be. I thought Ingrid had a. That's interesting. I thought Ingrid was putting something on it first. How did you find us? How did we find you?
I just knew that I wanted to work with Coldwell Banker.
So you called us. We called you.
I called you.
Wow.
I found you guys on the website.
Okay, well, you should be a realtor. You found us on the website. Well, at any rate, this should be filled out. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but we got the source, we got your contact. Hopefully, we've got your right email, we've got your address, we've got your tabs. We got to see if there's anything pending for you. We're supposed to do anything with you. There are some stuff pending. Steve has an email that somebody sent. He said, "Thank you. I'll see you soon." I have an action, a new agent hire. This should have showed up on our sales meeting 3 months ago, and it didn't. So this is just tracking, and we have an event invitation. This looks like. Did you send me an email
Yes,
back?
I did.
So you sent me an email back yesterday at 12:14 that said, "I would love to go. Thank you for the information. Have a great day." So that's what I'm going to do. Great. Anna.
Oh, and I emailed her asking if I could bring my husband.
See below.
Just bring them.
Karen is in.
Is he a Packer fan?
That's
Bring 'em,
why
bring 'em,
it's
please
so
bring 'em.
funny. Yeah. You guys can commiserate.
We'll be
Oh,
drinking.
I know, right?
Okay, so I'm replying back to Karen. Great, I'm glad you're in. I'm CCing Anna, so Anna has to keep track of how we're doing this and what we're doing. And my computer.
Any opportunity to get away from the kids, go have a nice time. Are you
Oh, it's
kidding?
gonna be great. Are you
Oh,
kidding me?
yeah.
Are you kidding me? Come on.
I like to party.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's why it's not doing it. I thought it was just being slow. My eyes are going. Okay, so right, so we just now that email's gone. That's out. If under my pending or my history tab, now I got a little bit of history with Karen going here. We got some stuff building. Every email that's ever come in or come out, we have. If I go back to the beginning, hopefully there's nothing in here that's going to embarrass you.
No, not at all.
But the first week you sent, this is an email notification, and you sent Steve this email on the 15th. Thank you again for your time with my husband and I. We're very interested in working with you. I'll say forever. Forever. So I know what's going on. And the good, the bad, and the ugly. Thank you for spending the time. Not impressed with Coldwell Banker Town and Country. I decided to go to RE/MAX. Because A, B, C, and D, ooh, well, I want to know that. I want to know that. I want to take a look at that. And I want to see, what have I got to do? How long is it going to take me to convince Karen she made a mistake and she needs to leave RE/MAX and come over here? Because, which by the way, that's another little mindset deal here. we lost her. No, we didn't lose her. We didn't get her today. Still in prospecting mode. I'm still in prospecting mode. For years. For years. I've got agents working in this office today that took me 15 years to get them here. Okay? To be honest with you, 15 years ago, did I know I wanted them here? Probably not. But we were doing our thing. We were doing everything we could do. Okay, okay, let's go to the next tab. So if you notice, we've got some tabs up here at the top. I'm going to close these because those
Can I ask a question?
Please do.
Just because I just went to the MLS training at IVAR.
Yep.
And they have the whole contact
Yep.
management in their matrix.
Yep.
Would you separate the two?
Yes.
Could you use just
You
their
don't-
contact thing just for?
Right. They do not, that's not a contact management system. It's
No,
nice.
I know, but
It is nice, but what you want to use that for is sending MLS data out through the MLS. It's beautiful. Use it. It's fantastic. And there is a element of
you
contact
can't.
management.
You wouldn't use that for potential.
everything. If I have somebody in the MLS that says, you're my client and I want to send you any new 3-bedroom in Rialto between 250 and 300, automatically boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I also have you in here that says, Karen is on my CRMLS campaign and I need to call her every 2 days, or I need to do this.
Okay.
Or you have to be involved. This overrides anything else we do.
Okay.
If you're using CB Works, did you say you were using CB Works? Somebody at the sales meeting a couple days ago said they're using CB Works to send out email blasts. It's great. It's great. You still got to get in here. Okay, so let's go through. We're an hour and a half in. The second, again, I'm assuming everybody has some sort of email account. You're using Outlook, you're using whatever it happens to be. Now this is going to be tough, and this is a challenge for a lot of people. If you're using, in my opinion, and obviously everybody feels differently about this, if you're going to use a true legitimate contact management system, your contact management system must have an email integrated into the system. In other words, probably not Outlook, although Outlook does integrate with a lot of these. Outlook, I believe, integrates with ACT, and Outlook integrates with Top Producer, and believe it or not, Outlook integrates with Goldmine, but the way I do my database, it doesn't work, which is a little problematic because the Outlook email system actually is a really nice, great email system. However, it doesn't store everything the way I want to store it. So I recommend that you have your email system within your sub, which causes some heartburn for some of my managers and all the rest of that sort of stuff is how do we access the email, where do the emails get sent? So anyway, your email, and then there's nothing spectacular about this. Let me go to an email. I don't have to scroll through and find something. It's a staff member email box. And just like Outlook, you can have your emails filtered down into a whole bunch of different categories, so they go into the boxes depending upon what rules you set up. Oops. Down to the bottom. One I want to try. Here's an email from Anna. She's working out the menu for the thing. So, the nice part about this is when I open up the email, it links, oops. Oh, and that's interesting. Bad example. How about Jay? I open up Jay. This is the email that Jay just sent out to my client. Actually sent it out to everybody on the team regarding one of my clients. And I go to his contact. The email is sitting in his pending box along with a whole bunch of other stuff. It's all linked forever. I never have to touch it. So this particular email that Jay sent, I can read it right now. I can open it up. This is everybody on the team he sent it to, of course. I can file it. That email is forever saved, linked to Jay forever and ever and ever and ever. And it is a beautiful thing. You can also have your email center set up to categorize things. For example, if someone takes, let's see, somebody did a listing in Skyslope, I automatically get an email that says Craig Paio, works in this office. Have you ever met Craig? 'Cause he never comes in.
No.
Took a listing last night, he put it in the system at 9 o'clock.
Huh.
Cool. According to this, in this box, we have one transaction that expired. So whoever has the property on Linda has an expired transaction, and we have a new transaction on Linda, which means they put it in brand new and they've set the expiration date on the day they put it in the system, which is they just need to fix. So all that stuff can be tracked. Okay, the calendar. Probably the most important, other than the actual names, addresses, and phone numbers, most important part of the contact management system really is the calendar, okay? Who sat in the business planning class a few weeks ago? A few of you, okay. Again, everything you do as part of your business plan and your contact management system has to be on your calendar. For example, this is a live calendar, this is my calendar, so this was my day today. And by the way, you guys are gonna help me build my calendar here a little bit, because normally between Christmas and New Year's, I do a lot of planning for the following year. And I've done that every year for 15, 20 years. This year, I don't know why, but I really didn't spend a lot of time doing my 2014 stuff, so I've got a little out of order. So I'm going to show you, so I've been kind of doing it over the last couple of days, and I'm not done. I got a lot up, which was terrible because today's the 9th of the month. I still got a lot of work to do on my calendar. So anyway, this was today. CBTC, Coldwell Banker Town and Country, it's a contact. Claremont office, Claremont sales meeting. That's where I was this morning. I went to there. I went to the meeting. So I'm going to complete it. I can type a note if I want. I'll just type a brief note. Good meeting. Obviously, I can expand on that if I needed to. And I complete it. It's still on my calendar. It's ghosted out. It has a little line through it. It tells me I completed. Pretty simple stuff. What are we doing right now? We did training. I'm going to complete it. Make myself a little note. Good meeting. 8 people. Some people.
Couple are out of the
I
room.
think Mike was here, he had.
8 people. Now what I don't have on here, which I should, do CRM. By the way, if you guys are doing a lot of searching for contact management systems, you'll see the acronym CRM a lot, or you may even hear me say, hey, are you using a CRM? That's a contact relationship manager. See, that's the industry vernacular for a contact management system. So if you Google CRM. Now for me, this is telling me something, by the way. And by the way, you don't want to just have stuff in your contact management system just for the sake of having. Everything you put in here has to have some meaning. It has to have some value. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add as much value to this action as I can. Number one, here I am. Number two, what did I do? Well, we did CRM training. Was it good or bad? I'm judging this meeting good. You may have a different opinion, and you should have it on there. You should put a note. Gee, I went to Lance's training today. Not so good. You better step it up or I'm not going to go anymore. So for me, I'm saying it's okay, and I'm also saying 8 people. So I might want to take a look at this next time and say, okay, last time I did CRM training, and in my opinion, 8, it's disgusting that we only have 8 people in here. I don't expect 210 people in here. I expect every agent in this office to be in here. Sends a message to me. You know, sends me a message, concerns me. Same thing with business planning. When we do a business planning class, and we have 7 people show up, what it tells me is that nobody's doing any business planning, and nobody's doing any contact management, and they're not interested in doing contact management, they're not interested in doing business planning. So my question to my agents on the video is, why are you in this building? Why are you in this office? Okay? Come on, guys. Why are we here? We're here to fill hours of the day. I mean, there's better places to be, to spend our time. I could think of dozens of places I could, if I'm not going to work and make any money, fish, I like to ski, just goof off, sit down, watch some TV, whatever. So, yeah, so I got 8 people in here. So these were my 2 hard appointments today, and I've completed them. I don't have any other appointments for the day. So when I'm done here, if my staff, which by the way, I share my calendar. So if I want to take a look at, let's see what Anna's got going on here. If I want to take a look at Anna's calendar, okay, Anna has not completed some stuff, but if I look at this, I have an opening today, Anna has an opening today, so in my mind, if I need to meet with Anna, well, from 4 to 5, I'm open. From 4 to 5, she's open. Hey buddy, we're meeting. Oh, well, no, Lance, I've got an appointment, I'm meeting with William. You are? Not if you're on my team, you're not, because you are on my team, you have to use Goldmine. It doesn't say you're meeting with William, therefore you're not meeting with William, you're meeting with me. Okay? And if you are meeting with William, it needs to say on here, I'm meeting with William at 4 o'clock, and this is what we're talking about. Okay, and then I'll leave her alone. So we share everybody's calendars and we share our actions. So to go back to my calendar real quick. So this side of the calendar is basically appointments. This side of the calendar is calls and actions. These are things we need to do. So I'm going to sort these by calls real quick. So before I'm done today, I got to take a look at this calendar and I'm supposed to call every single one of these people. Wintergreen, probably that new property that we just got signed up from Fannie Mae. I'm supposed to follow up with the AM, that's asset manager, on status. Okay, that's a phone call to an asset manager. Hey John, this is Lance at Coldwell Banker Town and Country. Thanks for the new assignment on Wintergreen. Property is vacant. Thank you for the assignment. We're going to get you the information. Thank you very much. Next, Shady Glade. Review the credit report. Hey Ray, I just looked at the credit report for your tenant on Shady Glade. It looks terrible. We got to get rid of them. Follow up with Amon. This is a different property, same deal, but this actually I take it back. Different property, same action. Red Setter. Does the tenant want to buy? I got to call these people. Matter of fact, this is an important one. Let me show you how this works. Oops. Red Setter. Okay. This tenant in theory wants to buy this house. I have a client that wants to know whether their tenant wants to buy their house, and they're expecting a phone call from me like probably 3 hours ago. I'm not going to be available for the next 3 hours. What's it there?
Nice.
I'll take the lead.
Yeah, what a guy.
14.
And you know what? That's a great. Oh,
I'm
I love it. I love it, William. I love it. Drew, call this tenant ASAP.
What's your referral?
And then let me know if they want to buy some candle. Okay, now this is a little note to Drew. Drew, call tenant ASAP, then let me know if they want to buy so I can call Forbes. This is user me. Again, I'm going to say all these users in the system. This is Drew, and I want to alarm him for immediately. That was going to alarm him, but for some reason, because on I snooze this before our meeting to remind me after our meeting. Our meeting is going to be over about 4 o'clock. So at 4:02, a reminder would have popped up on my calendar to call them, but I don't want to lose the next hour and a half, so I'm going to have Drew do it for me. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that alarm. Oops. Oh, I know it sucks. Everything I just did just disappeared. I got so excited, I just can't help myself. One more time. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Drew. And alarm that. And okay, now I have to be careful because I don't know if Drew's in front of his computer right now. He could be out to
He is,
lunch.
I just went by his office and on the
He
way to
is?
the bathroom, yep.
He is, okay, now if Drew's doing his job, he's gonna see that record, but I gotta be careful. Because this is one of the dangers, when you guys start working with assistants, you have something important, and you send something over to your assistant, you think your assistant's gonna do it, but now it's off my calendar, right? There's nothing to remind me to deal with this, except the person I really need to talk to really isn't the tenant, the person I really need to talk to is the owner, his name is Forbes, so I'm gonna come over to Forbes, and I'm gonna make myself a reminder call, schedule call. Everything I do is all, I want to make this as efficient as I can. So I just typed in FOL. I have all these different follow-ups for a variety of different subjects that I normally follow up. I also have just kind of a generic follow-up. I don't want to get too, this kind of gets into what Steve might have been saying, oh, it's a little too complicated. I can get really complicated. I can get really into the tall grass here and get you confused. So I'm not going to go down that road. But there are reasons you want to have these little shortcuts set up. It's taken me 18 years to refine this program. I got it down, okay? And you learn over time, do this instead of that. So I know I'm gonna quick follow up on red center tenant. Okay? Now this is important. Some things are on my calendar are more important than others. This is important. This is if I don't call this guy, not only may I not get this business, I could lose a lot of other business. Okay, so this is like a 911 important. So I'm going to alarm this. And I'm actually going to alarm it for right now. So what's going to happen, and I'm going to click schedule, and within a second or two, or 3 or 4 or 5, a little box is going to pop up over there, and it's going to say, call Forbes about the red setter tenant. Okay? And as soon as that pops up, I'm going to snooze it for a second, and I'm going to snooze it for probably 20, 30 minutes, and then it pops up again in our class. I'm going to snooze it again for another 20, 30 minutes. And what that's going to remind me to do is then walk over to Drew's office and say, hey, did you get the alarm? Did you call the red setter tenant? Now, and if Drew's doing his job, and if we're using Goldmine the way we're, oh, you know, I have my alarms snoozed, I think of. Let me see something. You can turn these alarms off so you don't get disturbed. Actually, let me set this alarm. What time does that say? 2:30?
2:31.
Okay, I'm gonna set it for. Oops. Type it any time you want, actually. Oh, it's PM, you don't want that. PM today. Okay, so in about 10-15 minutes, that alarm's gonna pop back up. Hopefully Drew also by then is gonna get that. Now, I really wanna walk over to his office right now, I wanna tell him that. But this would be a good test. It's a good test to see how well our system works. Because if he's doing what he should be doing, that alarm should have popped right up on his desk, and it should have done that. So in theory, he should be on the phone right now, talking to these people, okay? And then he can send me the note back into Goldmine, which would be really cool if a little alarm popped up without me going and telling him. Believe me, it's killing me not to go over there and tell him. But if we're a good team, a little alarm's gonna pop up over here from Drew to me that says, hey, I just talked to the red setter tenant, and yes, they wanna buy it. That's the value of a contact management system within a team, okay? I get this question a lot, you guys may kind of wonder yourself. I'm a pretty active, involved guy in my business, okay? Steve's been working, we've been working together now for a few months. I'm so busy, we have spent so little time together. I mean, it's almost embarrassing the amount of lack of time we've spent together, okay? We've got 5 offices, we've got 5 managers, we've got agents, we have escrow officers, we've got a property management department, I manage homeowners association, we have 900 single family rentals, which I actually am involved in as well. We have a maintenance department, I have a life, I have a kid, I'm married 27 years, it's a flipping miracle she's put up with me. So I get this question all the time, well, Lance, how do you do it? And you know what my answer is? Goldmine, okay? Without Goldmine, operating the team, 30 employees, not agents, 30 employees, working, how do you manage? And I gotta be honest with you, sometimes the answer is, how do I manage it? Well, not very well.
Do you subscribe to this and you just add on your team, or
Yeah.
do they all have to subscribe to it so you guys can
Well, no,
interact?
these people, everybody on this system works for me in one form or another. These are not agents, these are staff,
No,
so
I
they
get
work
it,
for
but
me,
I
so.
mean, they don't have to subscribe to it to themselves so that you guys can link up together?
It's all one database.
Okay,
If you come work for, here,
so you subscribe to it and you just add the
Yep.
people on your team to it? So that's how you contact them and.
this is how it works. Karen, you just got a good job.
Good going, Karen.
No, seriously. Okay, I'm gonna leave this blank for a minute. You've now just been hired.
Okay, cool,
You are now in Goldmine, you're in the Tree of Trust. Not many
Okay.
people make it into the Tree of Trust.
nice,
Um,
thank you.
let's see if you're here yet. Here, Karen Baker. You
Okay.
now have a calendar. Okay?
Okay.
I now want you to call Phil Jones, and I want you to go to lunch with Phil for me. So I'm gonna try.
So when I get home and open up my computer, it'll be in there?
That's right, it's just that easy.
Okay. Oh, okay, cool. So not everybody on that list has to be a subscriber to it also?
Well,
You just
you
subscribe to it and
just,
add
I
whatever you
just, you
want?
just
Okay.
subscribed to it.
Okay,
You now have a calendar. You just came to work for me.
okay.
And you have one thing to do today. You're supposed to call Phil Jones. You're my assistant,
Okay.
okay?
Write
Okay?
it down.
Alright. You know I'm kidding. So, you're supposed to call
I
Phil.
want you to know I'm taking
Now,
it seriously.
now how cool, now let me, you wanna see, guys, now we're getting into the tall grass, okay? You wanna see something super cool? Alright. Bear with me. Activities. How about, let's just take Emily. Emily's gonna probably freak out here a little bit. Hopefully, we're gonna do this really quickly. Emily works for me. This is what's on Emily's calendar. You're fired. My assistant just quit or just got fired, and I've replaced Emily with Karen. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. Options, roll over. Take it from Emily, give it to Karen for today. Bum.
Are we gonna hear something out there?
They'll be here screaming.
Emily's calendar just disappeared.
Oh my God.
Emily's calendar, there you are. You
Now have to do all that
You
stuff.
are the new Emily. Now again, right now for where you guys are within your own business model, this is power user time. But think about it, you're having some success, you hire an assistant, you hire William, he's doing good, you depend upon him exclusively. One day he calls you and says, I'm out.
I got my license.
Got his, oh,
Bye-bye.
gonna happen by the way, all the time, okay? What do you do? Well, if you're hardcore like me, William, the only way you can work for me is if you use Goldmine. If you don't use Goldmine, you can't work for me. Everything you do has to go into Goldmine, and I have to monitor that. So everything he does is in Goldmine. Boom, boom, his appointments, his actions, his calls, everything he does. No paper, no, because what happens when William quits and all of William's, which isn't William's stuff, whose stuff is this?
Yours?
It's your stuff, but it's all in William's paper, it's on William's Post-it notes. He quits, he gets sick, he gets his license, and you're like, oh, hey, I know, gee, I had appointments, he was gonna do this, what's going on? Okay? You're not allowed to have this if you work for me. Everything has to go in here. So this is how I use it. I fire Emily, I hire Karen. Ta-da! Welcome to your new job.
Thank you.
I fire Karen, I give it back to Emily, go back to Karen,
Is she still at her desk?
there's now your stuff, options,
We would have kept you if you were a Packer fan.
and actually there was one thing on here that we don't want to give to her. Where's Phil Jones at? Where did he go?
I'm not
Is that
calling him
calls?
for lunch.
Yeah, call him, no, you're not, gonna give that back to me. Edit, this one we're gonna give back to me. And I'm not calling him, by the way, today. Phil's on my calendar to call for lunch. Yeah, he ain't getting a call from me today. And guess what? I'm not calling him tomorrow either. So I'm gonna put him back on my calendar. Maybe I'll call him next Monday.
We'll see him in San Diego.
You know what? You're right. We're gonna be in San Diego around the 22nd, 23rd.
Yep.
I'm gonna put it on my calendar. Thank you. I'm gonna put it on the calendar for the, and I set lunch. And again, C M in San Diego. Okay? So I'm gonna pop that right there. That goes from Karen's calendar off your calendar over to my calendar. Our system is backing up, which is why we have the delay. I go back to the actions. These are all of Emily's actions. We fired Emily, we hired Karen. We're now firing Karen, we're rehiring Emily. Right click, options, roll over, back to Emily it goes. Put this, it wants to forward it to tomorrow. I'm gonna put it back on today because that's where it was. roll over, it's gone. Karen's no longer, now you're terminated, Emily's been rehired, everything's done. How long did that take? 23 seconds. Okay, now it doesn't matter whether there was 10 actions or 10,000 actions on there. They're all on there, they're all sitting there waiting for me. Now I want to get rid of Karen. Tools, I'm firing you completely.
She got a smile.
And you are done.
Not going to poker now, huh?
No, you're out. It says, who do you want to reassign your activities to? If I missed something, I forgot to, maybe something got hung up, I'm going to reassign it to me. So if you did have anything on your calendar, it went over to me, you're done, you no longer exist in the world. Okay? And in theory, if I was hardcore on, it's got to go in gold mine, got to go in gold mine, got to go in gold mine, we got a problem. We're training somebody here. Hold on a second, see if we can get a live response.
I looked at the below where it says new setup track run, I thought it said bum photos to server from bum photos.
Come here for 2 seconds. Don't run. It's not that important. You guys know Kylie?
Of course.
Are you allowed to give me a post-it note that says call back Sally Smith?
No.
How are you supposed to tell me to call back Sally Smith?
You know,
Or
I'll
through,
put it.
in,
Goldman.
call back. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Very well. Okay? It's just that simple. You can't do it. You can't do it. So William's your assistant. You set up a policy that says, because he's taking your calls, hey, call back Lance, call back Steve, call back Karen, call back whatever it happens to be. You don't want him to give you, you don't want to come in and here's your callback list, or here's your little message pad, right? No. You put it in cold. So William's taking your calls, and who calls again?
Digital paper trail.
Exactly. Lance called. So yes, I am a contact in my own database. It's kind of how it works. So Lance called, schedule, call. Call back, RE listed. Okay, I put it in there. Let's just pretend for a moment you're Ingrid. I alarm it. Now Ingrid's calendar. Can't get lost, no post-it notes under the desk. And the best part about, now I just put this on Ingrid's calendar, so she's going to kind of wonder what am I doing here. So if I went to Ingrid, today, reference, there I am, oops, there it is. Callback regarding listing, now that's on her calendar. This is the best part about this. This is good and bad, okay? Ingrid is supposed to make these phone calls today. Is it possible that she might not make all of them? Yeah, it's possible she might not make all of them. Will this call be, now again, it's good and bad. The bad news is she didn't call me back today. The good news is that's going to be sitting there waiting for her tomorrow. Okay? What happens, have you guys ever done this where, I've done this. You got your piece of paper, have you just like abandoned this thing? You just don't even want to touch it anymore, do you? You got your piece of paper, you got your callbacks, and then it gets stuck underneath a couple other pieces of papers and it gets in a folder, and then you find it like a week later and you see, oh man, am I the only one who's ever done this stuff? I do that all the time. Oh, I was supposed to go. Well, if you have it in the system and you use your system, you never have that problem. So let me delete this, because again, this is literally just one on Ingrid's calendar. So you don't wonder what this is all about. So this is how the calendar portion of your, and by the way, as you can tell, I'm bouncing back and forth between other people's calendar. Nice and, now again, single user, you don't have to deal with that. But once you get yourself an assistant, you share your calendars, you go back and forth. And by the way, half of the people on here don't even work in this building. Okay, half of these people work 40 miles away. Claremont, Covina, Redlands, Santa Ana, whatever it happens to be. And we're all just sitting here making love all day long. It's a beautiful thing. Figuratively, of course. Okay, so here's my calendar. So as I go through, this is basically the rule that I have for everybody that uses Goldmine. And I got to tell you, full disclosure, this is heavy. I have a meeting back. I'm going to be with you guys for another hour. And I don't know what's going to wait for me at 4 o'clock. So, and then when I get home, I'm probably not going to have the time to go through and call every single one of these. But this is what I do. And this is what you guys will need to do. And by the way, it's amazing how quickly this database grows, because remember, you knock on those doors, and the next thing you know, you got 3, 4 a day, and you got 30, 40 a month, and now it's 6 months, and now you got 300, 400 people. Now 2 years have gone, you got a couple thousand people, and you're supposed to be calling them. It's amazing how this stuff starts to, which is what you want. Because that means now you've got business, and you've got legitimate reasons to call people. But this is what I have to do. You have to go through, and you have to at least look at every single one of these actions before you shut down your contact management system for the day. And you have to make a conscious decision. Am I going to call Arjun today? Can it wait? Do I have to call Bill today? Do I have to call Brian? Do I have to call Charlotte? Do I got to talk to Chris about this Goodyear guy? And then I'll go through and I'll make those decisions. And then what I should do, kind of like what Steve helped me with Phil Jones. Phil Jones was on my calendar. For example, let's just take Arjun. Arjun Reddy. That's a what's up. There's really, it's just, hey, what are you doing, buddy? It doesn't have to happen today. It doesn't have to happen tomorrow. The reality is, if I don't ever call him, it's fine. But that defeats the entire purpose of contact management. So I know I'm not going to call him today. I'm not going to call him tomorrow. So I'm going to put him on my calendar for Monday. So I just grab him, drag him to the 13th, and I'll click on the 13th. There he is. What's up? Sitting there waiting for me. So I'll call him on the 13th, hopefully. Now if I don't, I'm in trouble. All of these people on Monday the 13th. On Monday, in theory, is my prospecting call time. So Ingrid is our recruiter. Many of you have spoken with Ingrid in one form or another. She will do something, and she will put them on my calendar, and then she'll say, hey, call these people. So for me, kind of like I'm telling you guys, you're going to go out and you're going to door knock 100 doors a day. For me, Monday is my prospect, which I don't have on my calendar. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. So I have all my recruiting calls on Monday. So I need to call Letty, I need to call Linda, don't look at that.
No, I saw that.
I need to call Pablo, and I need to call Jenny. And I've got a very interesting one. Bob Agla is very interested, according to Ingrid. But I don't have an appointment, even though I told you guys on Monday I do prospecting. According to this, the only thing I have on my calendar to do on Monday is the Redland sales meeting. Which, by the way, here's January, February, March, goes through the year. Every Monday from 9:30 to 11:30, if I click on a Monday, February 10th, Redland sales meeting. March 17th, Redland sales meeting. April 14th, oops, Redland sales meeting, but I have something scheduled which is potentially going to conflict with that. Anybody know about the Coachella Valley Music Festival down in Coachella? Well, that Monday,
Playing hooky, huh?
I'm playing hooky. So guess what? No Redland sales meeting for me that day.
The music festival's on a Monday?
Well, it actually ends Sunday night, but it takes me a while to...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It took me a little
Got
while to
it.
recuperate. I have designated until 2:30 on Monday to detox. Alright?
Alright.
So anyway, it's all there. So now, I want you guys to help me out here on my calendar. So, I'm going to go back to my calendar. And, it's weird when my contact can get over here. Okay, I want to schedule. I'm going to schedule myself an appointment. Now, let's suppose part of your prospecting and part of your business plan is to, again, I don't get hung up on my door knocking analogy, but let's just go back to that. You're going to knock doors. You're going to go out for 3 days a week for an hour and a half, and you're going to knock on some doors. Which, by the way, if you're not really familiar with what I'm saying, it is exactly what I've been exampling. Hello, I'm Lance Martin. You know, anybody wants to buy or sell, whatever your script is. Okay, so my example is Monday recruiting calls. I've just told you guys I do recruiting calls on Monday. Now, do I mean it, or am I just saying that for show? So when you tell me you're going to hold an open house on one of my Fannie Mae properties, do you mean it, or are you trying to impress me in the group?
No, I want to follow up on it.
We'll
for
find
sure.
out.
Yeah.
We'll find out, because history says 94% of the agents who tell me that don't do it. We'll see if you're one of those or you're in the 6%. Prove yourself to me. I love you. So far you've indicated you're with me. Prove it.
Going to.
Okay? So, and well, when you get your contact management system, what I want to see on your calendar is open house, open
I don't
house,
know, you're
open
probably
house.
going to get a sticky note.
You're filling in.
I'm just
So,
kidding.
recruiting calls. So, recruiting, recruiting calls. Oh, sorry, I've already got a thing up there for it. Recruiting calls, when is my first recruiting session? 13th, which is a Monday. When am I gonna do my recruiting calls? I got my Redlands sales meeting in the morning. My mornings get tough. When I get back here, probably by noon, maybe I'll stay over there. Might be better for me to stay in Redlands. I can kind of hide in the back of the office. Maybe I get lunch, which by the way, you'll never see on my calendar lunch or break. I don't even know what that means. But I'm gonna say, my plan is between 1 and 5. Doesn't mean my day ends at 5, because it doesn't. I'm gonna block off 4 hours on Monday. I might not need 4 hours. I might need 8 hours, I don't know. But every Monday, from 1 to 4, and I mean every Monday, recurring. By the way, every single contact management system out there has a very similar setup. You can set an appointment for a single date and time, or you can set an appointment to recur. Now it's a little difficult to see. January 13th at 1 o'clock is when we're starting. When are we ending? Well, I like to do my calendar out for the year. That's just how I plan everything. This is what I normally do between Christmas and New Year's. So I'm going to push this out. My end date is going to be the last Monday in December. Now don't get hung up on whether that falls on New Year's Eve or Christmas or anything like that. I just plug it out, okay? So that's the 29th of December. And the reality is, I know right now I'm not working on the 29th of December because I don't work the week between Christmas and New Year's. Or at least I'm not going to be making recruiting calls from what I can guarantee you that. Although that might not be a bad time to do it, I don't know. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it weekly and I'm doing it on Mondays. I'm done. A quick schedule. That took a minute or two. It tells me I have some conflicts. Every single, now, when you're setting this type of thing up, this isn't as important, but when you're setting hard appointments, you have a listing appointment, you have a buyer appointment, this is very important. Now what this is telling me is, you set up an appointment to do recruiting calls between 1 and 5 o'clock on a Monday, and on this Monday, you're supposed to be going to the RioMat conference on March 24th, and it's going to tie up my time. Do you want to still schedule that appointment? On this Monday, I'm going to be at that Coachella thing again. On this Monday, I'm going to be at the second week of Coachella. So I have to make a decision. Am I going to conflict with these? And for now, my answer is yes. I'm going to ignore my conflicts. Now, this would be a little bit different. Let's suppose you're just setting up a single appointment. And you say, hey, I have a listing appointment with William on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And then this popped up and said, well, wait a minute. You already have a listing appointment with somebody else on Monday at 5 o'clock. So then this would say, stop. Now in that particular case, well, hey William, can we do 8 o'clock from Monday? Or can I come at 3 o'clock, or whatever it happens to be. So this is nice when it tells you you have a conflict, but I'm going to ignore it. I click ignore, it automatically scheduled it, I go back to my calendar. If I start with my Mondays, starting next Monday, Lance Martin recruiting calls. Bingo. Then I go to the 27th, Lance Martin. It's every single Monday for the entire year. It's booked. Okay. Now this is the deal with this. I think we talked a little bit about this in the business planning class. Guys, your success in this business is not tied to me, or Steve, or Coldwell Banker, or your spouse, or it's all about you. Okay. You want to get up. You want to go to work, you want to make some money, you're going to set your schedule, and you're going to commit to what's on your schedule. It's very, very easy for all of us, myself included, when Monday comes around at 1 o'clock, oh man, nobody's looking, nothing else happening here, woo, I'm gone. Very easy on a Sunday on a Fannie Mae vacant foreclosed house to cancel an open house because nobody
Oh,
cares.
you can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't. I've done it.
You know what? I actually
It
had
can
it
be
happen
done.
to me. I would never do it. We went looking at homes. There was an open house scheduled on a house I wanted to see when we were looking to buy a house, and they just didn't show up. And
Shameful.
I just thought that was,
Rude.
it sickened me. Yeah,
It's
I was.
awful.
I just thought,
Can't
you know
believe they would
what?
do such a thing.
Oh, I can't. I couldn't. I would never do that. That's
Well,
just not
I
right.
gotta tell you, some of you heard this story because you've been through a few of my classes before. In my prospecting class, my open house prospecting class. I'm 19 years old, I got my real estate license, I started selling. My first broker was in Cerritos, Gene Bird. At the time, I hated him, and I don't hate anybody, but when I left that office, I hated this man. And you know why? Because I told, hey Gene, actually Lance, let's put your business plan together and let's get your schedule and what do you, Lance, you tell me, Lance, I'm playing the role of Gene, what you want to do. Well, this is my income and how are you gonna do it? Are you gonna, yeah, Gene, I'm gonna hold some open house. So when are you gonna hold, I'm gonna hold 2 open houses every other Sunday and, okay, great, you're gonna knock doors, you're gonna make phone calls. So he'd build my calendar for me, okay? And then he would know what my calendar, he was my coach, he's my broker, he's my manager, he's trying to hold me accountable, he's trying to make me successful in this business, which I really didn't get at the time. So he would know that I was supposed to have an open house on Sunday, and he'd ask me the week before, hey Lance, just checking with you, hey buddy, going okay? You got your open house, you need any help? You're gonna do your open house on Sunday, that's what you can, yeah, Gene, no open house, not yet. So you know where the story goes. So guess what happens 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon?
You're watching
You
football.
call.
Ring, ring. Pick up the phone. I have my cell phone. Picked up my cell phone. Hey, Gene! You younger kids don't know what we're talking about. They were a little bit bigger back then. Hey, Gene! I will never forget this. I will never forget. This was pre-caller ID. You didn't have the caller IDs, but it was just incoming call, or I said call. And it would, oh, my cell phone's ringing. How cool is this? Right? Hey Lance, he didn't have to tell me who he was. Of course he knew who he was. Hey Gene, what you doing? And he knew exactly what I was doing or what I wasn't doing. Oh, I couldn't lie to him. He'd know. I'm watching the football game. Gee, Lance, it's not what you told me you were going to do. And I don't remember exactly what he said after that, but that was enough. That's all I had to hear. I said, okay, you're right. Click. Got my buddies over at the house, my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. Gotta go, guys. I went into the closet, grabbed my only white shirt and my only black tie, and went and held an open house for the rest of that afternoon. I hated him. Okay? All he was doing was holding me accountable for what I told him I was going to do. If I had not told him I was going to hold an open house on Tuesday or Sunday, he wouldn't have called me and he would have said, hey, he would have left me alone. But at some point he would have said, okay, what are we doing here exactly? This is a job. It's not just to get your real estate license and you buy a BMW. It doesn't work that way. You got to go do something, right? So when it comes to success or failure in this business, and again, by the way, most of you are relatively new. You want to know why most of you will fail in the first year in this business? You want to know why? Because you don't know what to do when you wake up in the morning or tomorrow. You got your real estate license. Now you know on Thursdays you have a safe place to come. Thursdays between 1 and 4, gotta be here.
Okay, good. So, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, please, give it to me.
Okay, so I'm not jumping the gun by asking if Karen is saying right now that she wants to hold an open house on this home that just came over from the Fannie Mae email.
Yep.
How is it that if you don't have Goldmine, or how is it that other agents can't plan the same?
Okay. Excellent question, but completely disconnected from how we operate our business. Goldmine is me. This is just my world. This is the equivalent of my day planner. Okay, on steroids with my team. Okay. Now, to use your example, within my world, I got a new listing. Okay, Karen just happened to hear about it. See, Karen doesn't have access to, but none of you guys have access to Goldmine. You're not going to have it. Not my Goldmine. You get your own Goldmine. Okay. So Karen just happened to hear we got a new listing, which is a Fannie Mae. Maybe we send out an email, maybe something's in the office, you just pull up the MLS, you see, oh, there's a new listing in the office. I'd like to hold, or you go to Steve and say, Steve, I'd like to hold some open houses, can you help me out?
Mhm.
And Steve says, oh yeah, and the Fannie, there's nothing special about this new listing with Fannie. I mean, it's a listing, nothing special about it. So you go to Steve or you start talking, you're gonna start to realize, you're gonna see, hey, Chris has been getting a couple listings lately, William just got a listing, Steve just got a listing, and you're gonna pull up the hot sheet and you're gonna say, hey, would it be okay if I held your house open? And he's gonna say, well, I'm holding it open on Sunday, and you're gonna say, well, how about Saturday? Or can I hold it open Friday afternoon? Who holds an open house on Friday afternoon? I don't know, give it a shot. Maybe you'll get something out of it. So now if William shuts you down and says, no, no, no,
Because this is the same house, right?
it's the same house,
Okay,
it's his listing,
okay,
we'll get more than one.
okay.
You know, so you develop the relationship, you ask Steve, ask me, and believe me, if you wanna hold an open house this weekend, we'll find you a house to hold open, okay? We'll find you one. So, has nothing to do with gold mine, has nothing to do with any, Karen doesn't know that, nobody else knows we got a new listing, nobody else knows that this is what's going on. But this is how if this was your calendar, you would say, let's just pretend this is Sunday and let's just pretend this says open house. So you know that you want to hold an open house on Sunday. Well, you got some work to do. Today's Thursday, you got to find one. Okay, well, ask around, you know?
Absolutely.
Let's try this out, let's see what happens.
And it doesn't have to be your listing, it doesn't have to be Eastern Inland office, it could be any listing. You can be in with a different office, you just need to get the permission.
All right.
So,
Could be with
Let me
any
know.
office.
I got
yeah,
one.
any Coldwell
But
Banker
then any,
office or.
any
I got
house that's
one.
Well,
listed,
yeah,
ready
someone
to
wants to do an
go,
open
right?
house.
Ready to go for an open house or
Well,
just
some
a-
houses are better for open houses than others, so that's one of the things you have to take into
Start
account.
getting
Is it a
flyers
traffic
out,
area,
you
is
gotta
it a
market
price
your open house.
range?
You don't
Yeah.
wanna just say,
So-
I got an open house, you gotta get your signs out, you gotta like.
You gotta do it.
You're
You
gonna
wanna
bake
do
your
the open house
cookies,
right.
you're gonna like, if you're gonna do an open house, you better do an effective open house. And not just show up and nothing happen, you're gonna have to put some work in. When you say open house, it's not just open house. You show up, no one can show up, you're not gonna do anything.
William, come on.
You need to get the flyers out.
Inside joke. That's right. We're getting there. I love it. Okay, you ready for this? I asked one person. I need a house to hold open this week. Do you have one? Maybe. His name's Eric Fisher. He's one of our colleagues. I love contact management.
Post it on Facebook, tell all your friends.
Sure. All that good stuff.
You need to get the neighbors involved.
Eric Fisher. Schedule. Call. We may have an open house for me this weekend. Now, when am I gonna call him? Well, I'll call him tomorrow, first thing. Schedule. So if he doesn't call me before, tomorrow morning, this is gonna pop up on my calendar. I'm gonna say, dude, do you still have that open house? He's gonna say yes. He's gonna give me an address, and you're gonna go. Now, again, I'm pretending I'm you, okay? Because we don't do that. We're not gonna schedule your stuff for you. I'm not gonna schedule Karen's open house, and I'm not gonna schedule yours. I'm not gonna schedule yours. What I'm gonna tell you guys, it's literally we will lead you to the water, drink it, okay? But the system is the same. So getting back to the calendar, whatever you're going to do, you want to schedule it. Now again, I've started to fill my schedule up. So let's just take a look at my calendar. Let's look at next week. Okay, so Monday, I've got my sales meeting in Redlands, and I'm going to make my recruiting calls. Okay. What have I scheduled myself for on Tuesdays? Next Tuesday in Covina, I'm doing a Coldwell Banker Connect training program. And I'm doing a business planning training in Covina next Tuesday. So that's the only 2 appointments I have scheduled. On Wednesday of next week, I'm supposed to go to Santa Ana to their sales meeting, and I have a homeowners association meeting with one of my associations at 7 o'clock. The rest of my day is open. On Thursday, I really want to make a commitment to get to the Moreno Valley tour. I have conflicts with that. So right now, I'm leaving both of my conflicts on the calendar. So my plan for 2014 is to try to hit 2 Moreno Valley tour meetings on Thursday, 2 a month, and 2 Claremont sales meetings. So alternating, the first and third Tuesday, maybe I'll do the Moreno Valley tour. The second and fourth Tuesday, maybe, or Thursday, I'll do the Claremont. I mean, I haven't figured out which is which. So in this particular case, I may leave both of these on my calendar, and I may decide that morning, where am I going? Okay? Also, every Thursday, 1 to 4 o'clock, training day, on my calendar is where I'm at. That's done. That's for every single day of the year. So just like I did, okay, this Friday, this is tomorrow actually, I'm going down to Camp Pendleton. We talked yesterday about the Wounded Warrior thing we were talking about. We're going to partner up and we're going to do some more stuff with them, and we're going to go down there and see what we can do to help those guys. I got a property management meeting in the afternoon from 1:30 to 3, and then I've got to meet when I got a problem. You know, I don't know if I did this myself or whether somebody on my team. I have a conflict. I'm meeting OJ at the warehouse to work on some stuff, and I'm supposed to meet Selene here at the same time to work on her business plan. Well, that's tomorrow. If I'm a professional, I better deal with that today. Somebody needs to get rescheduled, okay? And I should do that right now. Getting back to when I was saying why most new agents in this business fail. Okay, you go to bed tonight, you have no idea what you're doing tomorrow. You're a real estate professional. I don't know what I'm doing. So you wake up in the morning, so what do? I don't have anything to do, so I guess there's really no reason for me to get into the office at 8. So I guess I'll get in when I feel like it. I'll get in at 9 or I'll get in at 10. Now again, I don't have anything to do, so now that I'm here, what do? Well, I'll walk around a little bit. Maybe I'll see if Steve's here. Hi Steve, and how was your weekend? And, boy, that was a great training class Lance did yesterday. You have a good day. Maybe you'll walk around, or maybe you won't come into the office at all. Or maybe you will come into the office and you'll sit there and you'll play, and I'm not joking. You'll play solitaire, or you'll play Words with Friends, or Facebook. Because now, how cool is that? You can sit at your computer, have your Facebook page up, and pretend like you're working. So when I walk by with Facebook up, social networking. This is a joke, guys. I'm mocking you, okay?
Actually, well,
Right?
I use Facebook, but
If you use it, 5%. Now I'm not saying 5%. I think there's 5%. I know of one person who uses Facebook effectively. I don't even know if his computer's going
more
to
people came to my open house because I posted it on Facebook.
I have I think 1,100 friends on Facebook.
That's great.
Yeah, but I don't use it effectively. When I say I know one person who uses Facebook effectively, it's not me.
Is it Geezer?
No. Although he's,
He's getting there.
I don't know if he's getting there or not. I think Geezer uses Facebook as I think it originally was intended to be meant, for friends and family and communicate, even though obviously he has a business relationship with it. It's so funny, I'm so used to looking at Facebook on my phone, I don't even know what it looks like when I look at it in this format.
What do you want to do? You
No,
want to post
hold
it?
on a second. Just looking at it, like I say, I just never look at it this way.
Oh, there you go, sure.
Chris Sorensen.
Yep.
Okay. This is the only, and I don't even know what the hell this guy does. Do you?
Not anymore.
Okay. This guy is the only person out of my, Brian, how do I know how many friends I have on Facebook?
Go to your home, hit the F on the top left.
Hit the F on the top
Yep.
left?
Okay, and
On
then
here somewhere?
you've got, well, you can customize it
Well, I
there.
just want to know how many I got. Where is it?
You're running the old,
Yeah, you're not updated.
yeah,
I'm not updated? How can I not be updated?
You should be on calendar like everyone else.
yeah.
No friends? Who's this person?
Down at the bottom. What the heck?
She got
Friends?
arrested?
She looks like she just got arrested.
Close friends.
Someone's
Close friends?
It's gotta be.
See all friends top right.
Ah, okay.
Well, you're on the old system still. There you go,
Okay,
1,000.
I got 1,015 friends. I know about 50 of them. Okay? The only person on Facebook, in my opinion, that uses Facebook effectively for business, and if I walked by his computer every day and he had Facebook up, I'd say, rock on, brother, and that's Chris Sorensen.
Yeah,
The guy's an animal,
yeah, that's true.
okay? He is an animal, but he's also an animal with content, and you don't mind getting stuff all the time.
Got good
He's
stuff.
not taking pictures of his food. Okay, all right. But at any rate, but let's get back to this.
Wait for me real quick.
If huh? Oh, you want to be friend? Actually, I've never asked anybody to be my friend. You'll
I know you
be
told me that.
you want to be my friend?
You be friend number 1012.
How do I do
Go to the
that?
globe in the top right where it says 13.
Huh? Who are these people? They want to be my friends?
These are notifications.
You're gonna play some games too, man. It's hot.
All right, we'll deal with this
Well,
later.
maybe it's not the right
No
Lance
one's
Martin.
poking you.
I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong Lance Martin.
I poked somebody once. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Okay,
I don't know.
so
There's like-
This
getting
is
back-
being recorded.
Getting back to the Facebook thing, if Facebook is part of, and believe me, I am not poo-pooing it, not at all. If you do what Chris Sorensen does, or what William is telling me he's doing, rock on, baby. But this is what I would say, and this doesn't, and again, I know this doesn't exactly work, and maybe the Facebook part isn't the best thing to go on your calendar, but what I would do is I would say, at some point on my calendar, hour a day, half hour a day, 4 hours a day, Facebook prospecting, or whatever the heck you want it to be. Now again, the nature of Facebook is such that, maybe you do it in the morning when you're waking up, or maybe you take an hour or two while you're laying in bed before you fall asleep, and so fair enough. So you put it down here. I don't know what time you go to bed, just the last thing on your calendar, update my Facebook stuff, or the first thing in the morning, update my Facebook stuff. But everything you do needs to be on your calendar. So again, you guys are brand new. Now you still might be saying, I don't understand. What am I supposed to do? Well, that's not what this training class is about. This training class is about whatever you're going to do, get it into here. The other training class, okay, we're going to do an open house. We're going to knock some doors. We want you to get involved in literally some fun stuff. This is a prospecting opportunity. Oops. Marina Valley Tour. You may find value there, you may not find value there. You have to go. You have to find out whether this is valuable for your business plan or not. You may go 3 or 4 times and think it's no good. You may decide to get rid of it. I would suggest you talk to Steve or me first and say, okay, why don't you want to go to it's the same old people there, and the agents seem kind of depressing, and the speakers aren't any good. And I may say, fine, take it off your calendar and never go again. Or Steve may say, you're looking at this wrong way. And you're not paying attention to the right people.
Right.
Stop paying attention to the speaker and stop paying attention to the other realtors.
And the
Start
food.
paying, and the food. Start paying attention to the mortgage person, the title person, the insurance person. Start passing out cards to the farmer's insurance agent and the mortgage. These people, by the way, most of them are there to get your business. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you being there to get their business. I'll give you a perfect example. She shall remain nameless, but there is a lender who I've known for 20 years. Hey, do you have something for me?
Drew. I got a question for Brian.
Have you been in gold mine?
Yeah?
You check your alarms?
Yeah?
Did you get your alarm?
That's why I'm having issues. That's why I got Brian. I'm having issues with
Check
my
those
phone.
alarms. Well, we're running a test. Clock is running. Actually, my alarm wasn't running. Maybe I should reset this. I'm gonna log on and log off. But okay, so getting back to this Marina Valley Tour thing. Again, this isn't a contact management. I'm out of contact management. I'm now into prospecting. But you look at it a little bit differently. The lender, I was telling you the story. A lender I've known for 20 years who I haven't seen in probably 10, popped into the office here a little while ago, started calling on the office, and is actually doing a loan with Drew and Helen. Okay, doing a good job, everything's fine. Well, guess what she called and asked me the other day? This is the lender called me and said, I got a whole bunch of referrals. Who should I give them to? next, sounds good, right? Okay, go, again, you gotta get outside the box. Go to these other places, go to, Steve and I, you're preaching to the choir when it comes to getting involved in the California Association of Realtors and the local Association of Realtors. Steve is the current president of the Inland Valleys Association of Realtors. We're both gonna be going to San Diego in actually, I think those alarms got hung up. Those are those alarms I was trying to get to pop up earlier. But at any rate, matter of fact, let's go. We have on my calendar and on Steve's calendar, I'm assuming, on the 22nd, CAR meeting, San Diego, Manchester, one night, yada yada. So I cannot go to the Santa Ana sales meeting on that day because I have determined that the car meetings are more important. On Thursday, 23rd of January, excuse me, calendar's malfunctioning here. On the 23rd, I have the same exact meeting, so I cannot go to the tour meeting that day, so I deemed my car meeting more important. I also cannot go to the Claremont sales meeting that day because I've deemed the car meeting more important. I can't do the training that day, but that doesn't mean that we're not gonna do training that day because the training is important, so I'm gonna leave that on my calendar so that we can get a stand-in. And I cannot not miss this meeting. This is a standing meeting with one of my homeowners associations. So I'm gonna leave that on my calendar, and I'm either gonna have to drive back to attend that meeting.
I got major malfunctions. Will said something, you wanna call somebody, it's important?
Yeah, Red Setter, your alarms aren't working?
No,
Call,
my computer's like, it says it's running, it's like something's wrong with it, it's dead.
call the tenant on a Red Setter. That's
Okay.
the one that Forbes wants to
You
sell it
talked to
to.
them already, right?
Left message, I haven't heard anything. Call the husband and the wife, I need to know today.
Okay.
See if they wanna buy it.
Doesn't sound like it.
So at any rate, this has to be, so again, I planned on my day. So again, from a prospecting standpoint, for example, does anybody in this room see value in going to the California Association of Realtors meeting and spending 3 days in San Diego? For most people, realtors, when you ask them that question, number one, the answer is no. Number two, they really don't understand what goes on there. But they also, the reason they say no, and the reason they don't understand what goes on there is because they don't understand the value of the networking and the prospecting that goes on there. Just like when I asked you the question earlier, what am I doing here? The obvious question is, I'm training, you're learning. What goes on at the CAR meetings? Oh, just a bunch of meetings. Okay? That's part of what goes on there. There's a lot of knowledge, there's a lot of prospecting, there's a lot of networking, there is a lot of business that gets done up there. It's very similar to this. You know, anybody wants to buy or sell, but it's also long-term business. It's not like you go there and you walk away with 3 listings and 3 buyers. It's not like that. It's relationship business. You get there, you get to meet some people, and they get to meet you, and they get to know you, and you get to know them, and then the next time you see them in town and you're on a listing, they write an offer, and now they know you. They know you because they've seen you in a professional setting, and you see value there, and there's lenders and title and other people there. So you got to make all these choices, and you have to build your calendar accordingly. What I also suggest you do, and I'm going to snooze these here, just get these out of the way real quick. Okay. What also I suggest you do with this is schedule your downtime when you're not working. Okay? Like for example, you guys kind of saw some of my downtime. In April 11th, I'm going to be at Coachella all day Friday. Call it vacation, you know, whatever it happens to be. On April 12th, I'm going to Coachella. On April 13th, I'm going to Coachella. The following weekend, guess what? I haven't gotten enough of it, I'm going to do it again, because they do the same thing over again. And guess what? The following weekend after that, because I'm stupid, the Stagecoach Music Festival is the so for 3 weekends in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I've scheduled important downtime for me. You guys need to do the exact same things. I'm taking a week off. I'm going away. I don't know if I've got that stuff on here or not. See if I've got my. By the way, there's also a long-term planner here.
You left messages for that guy, huh?
I left one message for his wife and one message for him.
We picked up on the first ring, he's super interested, he never heard any calls from you, so But
He's
anyways,
interested.
I gotta get a price as soon as my computer's back on.
He's
I'll-
interested.
He's already pre-approved, ready to go.
at the.
I don't know what price.
I think Forbes would go like 315, 320 or something like that.
Okay, well, I gotta get my computer fired back up.
Okay, well, we'll tell him we'll get him a price and we'll call him back tonight after I talk to Forbes.
Already did.
Okay, so at any rate, all this stuff, you wanna get all this stuff scheduled out. You wanna get it all scheduled out as much as you can, whatever you're gonna do and however long you're going to do it. And if it's not, this is a different view. I don't wanna bore you with that. Hold on just a second, let's see. Giving me a fit here right now. Oh, stop it. My process monitor's right. There we go. Okay, so you plug all that stuff into your calendar and you plan it and then you do it. Now, one of the things that you want to potentially, not potentially, but you want to rely on me, you want to rely on Steve, maybe find yourself, and I use this word loosely, a partner within the office. This is not somebody that you're sharing listings or sales with or splitting commissions with, because I'm not a big fan of teams, okay? There are some successful teams, but generally speaking, you don't want to team up with anybody else in the office and start splitting commissions. It's a bad idea. It's a recipe for disaster. But there's nothing wrong with teaming up with somebody and saying, hey, can we put our calendars together here a little bit? How about we go out and we do some prospecting together? Kind of like a gym buddy, okay? If you got somebody you go to the gym with, shoot, I don't want to go to the gym this morning, but I promised Cheryl I was going to meet her there and we're going to play racquetball, okay? Not so much that I like Cheryl, but the thing was I knew that if I committed to go with Cheryl, I would go more often, because now I've got a commitment to go. So if you guys, open houses, for example, it's great for people that are brand new, okay? Say, hey, you want to hold an open house this weekend? Yeah, I want to hold an open house this weekend. Okay, great. You don't have to do, you could do the same house, or you could do 2 different houses. Try to find 2 houses reasonably close. They don't have to be next to each other, maybe a mile, 2 miles away. Some similarities, a little more expensive, a little less expensive. But you commit together that you're going to do an open house. And you want to feed off of each other, which is kind of nice. Hey, this doesn't meet your needs. You need something a little less expensive? Go over to that open house. Hey, this is a little, you know. And then, but now you're accountable to one another. It prevent. Maybe I'm the only person in the history of sales that's done this, but you know, on occasion, I'll pull up my calendar and I'll have recruiting calls, and I'll look around and I'll realize that there's nobody here that's going to hold me accountable to do the recruiting calls, and I won't do that. And then I wonder why I don't hit my goal, why I don't hit the income goal. And then again, you say, Lance, come on, you got to get motivated, you got to get disciplined. Well, you know what? I'm pretty motivated, and I'm a pretty disciplined guy, okay? But I also, and I don't have it on my calendar because I don't know where to put it yet, last year, every day, from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., I had on my calendar, go to the gym. Go water skiing, go to the gym, do some sort of exercise. And I had my goal, 190 pounds. That's what I wanted to get to. I think last January I weighed about 220 pounds. Today I weigh 217 pounds. That wasn't quite what I had in mind. Now I guess I'm heading in the right direction, but mission not accomplished. Now again, whose fault is that? No, it's not. It's Canyon Crest Athletic Club. If I had been a member at Family Fitness, I would have done it.
This is how you get expired listings.
Right? Okay, let's let the joke continue. It's not my fault. It's Coldwell Banker Town and Country's fault. If I had been at Keller Williams, I would have done it. It's not Keller Williams' my fault. It's Keller Williams' fault. If I had been at Prudential, I would have done it. It's not my fault, it's Prudential's fault. If I had been at RE/MAX, I would have done it. Well, guess what? Every single one of those companies are fine companies. To be honest with you, just as good as Coldwell Banker. Goodness gracious. Yes, guys, it's you. It's you. You gonna cut that out of the tape?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that out of there.
Come on, let's be
Teasing,
real.
teasing.
Let's be realistic. When I was an independent agent, prior to Coldwell Banker, Lance Martin, Pioneer Real Estate, independent, brown cards, brown and gold. They were the ugliest cards you've ever seen in your life. I'm going out and I'm knocking doors, I'm 20 years old. You wanna list yourself, you wanna list yourself, you wanna list yourself? I was destroying the Coldwell Banker agents, the Remax agents, the Tarbell agents, the Prudential agents. They had all of this great stuff. All of these great materials, all these fantastic stuff. Those people were not listing with the company, they were listing with the agent. Same thing with you guys. You gotta list with the agent, but you gotta hold yourself accountable. On this, the last thing I'm gonna have to say on the calendar, and then we will maybe wrap up a little bit early before 4. But I love, Lou Holtz has a great quote. Famous football coach, he still does color commentary on ESPN. Great guy. I mean, he's up there in the top 5 football coaches in the history of the game.
Great motivational speaker.
Great
too.
motive. And actually you just tied right in. I couldn't have paid you enough to set me up. Lou, I don't know when this happened, and I think this is attributed to him. I always attributed to him, but he's in a press conference one day, and some sports writer asked him a question. Mr. Holtz, coach, how do you keep your players motivated? How do you get your players motivated? He says, it's easy. I get rid of the ones that aren't motivated. I think the question was, how do you keep your team motivated? I get rid of the players that aren't motivated. In other words, this is one of the greatest coaches, motivational speaker ever, basically saying, I can't motivate you. Now, I might be able to get you rah-rah for a little bit, and I might be able to get you motivated for 2 hours after you leave my seminar, but I cannot make you make the phone calls, knock on the doors, and do all the rest of that sort of stuff. And if I want to have a great team, if I want to have a great real estate office, I get rid of the ones that don't. Just like my broker I told you I hated, I would not be in this business today if it was not for him. He is one of my, I mean, certainly not my best friends, but he is on the top of my mentor list right now. And I disconnected from him for about 18 years, and I reconnected with him, and I literally went over, I took him to lunch, and I cried. And I said, thank you very much, because I would not be in this business today if it wasn't for you. And when I left that office, I swore that he was the worst person in the planet. But I knew he wasn't. He just made me uncomfortable. Okay, getting back to the contact management side. So this is our goal. Let's bring this back to something that's actionable, that you can leave here with, because that's really what contact management is all about. It's all about actions and activities, okay? So, for me, these are my people. These are my actions and my activities. Go back to today. So these are the things that I need to do, okay? I have more things to do. Here's my email box, so I've been kind of disconnected in the last few hours. I have 160 emails that have come in that I need to get to. And that's just the new ones. I got staff that sent me those. I get this. So those are my actions and those are my to-dos. Okay. So this is what you guys need to do. Number 1, and let's do it right now. Let's take a look. I'm just going to do a real basic Google search. Just come up here. Let's Google ourselves. Okay. And you can Google contact management, CRM, or whatever it happens to be. I'm just going to do CRM. Okay, CRM software, okay, Salesforce, fantastic program, very expensive, okay. I would love to be using Salesforce personally. It is hundreds of dollars a month to use Salesforce, okay. That's going to be a tough one. Zoho.com, never heard of them, don't know anything about them. Oracle's got something, I don't know what they're talking about. CRM summary, customer relations, more Salesforce. Sugar CRM. I don't know much about them. I have heard Sugar CRM is good. And by the way, I'm gonna recommend 2: Top Producer or Act. But spend an hour on Google, play around, see what else you think you might be interested in. But from what I understand, Sugar CRM is very good. It's very reasonable. Something that you might be able to manage. A lot of stuff on Salesforce. What do we got here? Okay, let's see what's on the next page. I'm just curious what's on the next few pages. A lot more Salesforce stuff. Okay, let's do a different search. Let's do contact management. Okay, contact management software. And it'd probably come up with a lot of the same results here. Okay, again, I don't know this, I've never heard of that.
I did the same thing before for real estate specific contact management, and there's some good stuff off of the Realtor magazine as well.
Okay, that would not surprise me in the least bit. ACT, okay, this is the one I've been talking about. I was actually looking for that without actually, and it's ACT, they have the apostrophe, but you don't have to worry about that. Last I purchased ACT, you could buy it at Office Depot for $100, okay? It's a single user. I don't think it's web-based. I don't think it has, but again, I haven't bought it in quite a while. Actually, you can try it free, it looks like. ACT, I don't know what ACT Pro is, but let's see what we got.
That might be the one that's specific to.
Okay, this is the Pro version, $269. I don't know if you need that. Try this again. Compare, how about this? Let's compare the products. Okay, well, it looks like the price of poker's gone up a little bit since I bought it last. Last one I bought was $100, $99. It looks like their basic version now is $250. But what, and again, I believe this product is, you buy it, you're done. Okay? Unlike some of these that are monthly. What's the premium about? I don't know. It looks like it's got maybe some mobile features and a few other things, and ACT Premium Mobile, which is kind of cool. Now everything's on your phone or whatever it happens to be. So there's one. Let's go back. I haven't actually looked at Top Producer in quite a while. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, right there. Okay, here it is. Top Producer Real Estate. Now, the one nice thing about Top Producer, and there's a couple others, but Top Producer is a program that has been around a very long time. In a sad kind of way, I'm kind of bummed out I'm not using Top Producer. When I first got into the business, I used a program from a title company. This was in
The wealth
a long
program
time
from
ago.
Commonwealth?
Huh?
The
The
wealth?
Wealth
That is it.
program.
Yeah.
Bring it in, Johnny. That was it. I was trying to remember
Nailed
what it
it.
was. That was the one. Wealth from Commonwealth. You
You
are
get to teach
correct.
the next class.
Well, and that was very limited but cool. I had Top Producer. I used Top Producer for about 2 years. Top Producer at the time was single user only.
Yep.
I had 2 assistants. Ugh. I'm like, I need a multi-user program. We're going to have one next month. We're going to have one next month. We're going to have one next month. So for 6 months, I said, okay, we're going to have one next month. And then I said, you're not doing it. Well, I don't know what we did with that picture. So I went to Goldmine. I went and I bought Goldmine, and I've been using Goldmine ever since. Guess what Top Producer came out with 3 months later? Multi-user version of the product. Now the nice part though about Top Producer, come on, just get me away from this. Is Top Producer is it looks like what a terrible website. It looks like they actually force you to log in first. But the nice part about Top Producer is real estate related. Okay? So it already has built in real estate related templates and all sorts of things. So for example, it probably already has stuff about open houses and prospecting templates and campaigns. It's built in, all the rest of that sort of stuff. You want to tell me how much this program is? Ah, there we go. What's the latest? When you sign up, what a terrible website. How much are you? Action plans. Who's ready to buy? I'm ready to buy. How much are you? Top Producer has the answers. Instant. Oh, that's just awful. Okay, well, I assure you that their program is better than their website. But last I checked, depending upon what you want, I think it's between $19 and $50 a month. Okay? It's web-based, it's a subscription, you're committed to it. Now, I don't know whether $19 or $50 a month sounds like a lot of money, but I'm telling you, if it's nothing. It's peanuts. Okay? you've gotta spend something to make it. I mean, literally $600 a month for this type of deal, if you close a half a deal on it, quarter of a deal on it. And it is a super, super slick program. But again, I know for a fact this is subscription based. So you're gonna have to basically subscribe to it. So, the actions for you guys, find a program, pick a program, then you gotta commit to it. You gotta promise me 6 months. You've gotta promise me you're gonna use it for a minimum of 6 months. And if you don't like it in 6 months, it's not that you give up contact management, then you can switch to another one, okay? But they're all just, oh, and by the way, Goldmine, you can buy an off-the-shelf version of Goldmine. Michael said $1,400. I don't think so.
I don't know where you got that from.
A single user Goldmine, I think, is like $350.
It shouldn't be much more than that.
Smart Branch Solutions. Is this the one I want? The company that makes Goldmine is called Front Range. I'm just thinking of Goldmine.com,
You must have looked at the premium edition.
I suppose. Choose Goldmine. Demos, Samsung's products,
Pricing.
Goldmine Premier. How much are you?
It was a pricing.
Yeah, that prior screen at the bottom, it's the
Oh, the prior
pricing.
screen?
Yeah.
Where is it?
It was at the top, there were like 6 things. Right there, pricing. Annual fee, regular price $27.80.
Yeah, but these are bundles.
Oh,
These are
but, oh, okay,
multiple
yeah, yeah,
users.
right, right, right.
Maybe they don't even sell single users. Maybe that's what he's talking about. They may not sell single users. Maybe Michael's right. Maybe they only sell 3-user bundles now.
Huh.
Which in a way kind of makes sense.
Right.
Because they just figure if you're going to use it, you're going to use it. You're going to need multiple users. So again, that's pricey. So maybe I got to tell you, this is why we're going to start doing this. Stephen and I talked about this a manager meeting ago, and we were doing years ago, 5-6 years ago. We were kind of doing what we call a fast start. You kind of saw a little demo, and it was like a 3-day deal. And I literally back then we do it a little bit differently if we instituted this year, but we would do a 3-day highly intensive. Let's get going, okay? And I literally would buy you a computer. Here's your computer. You've got a contact management software. I was buying digital cameras. We bought you a little mobile printer. Got you some flyer software. We did a schedule. We spent 3 days building kind of what we're talking about here, building it for you. And what I bought for you guys as part of the deal was by the way, I didn't do this for free. Everyone had to pay to be part of the class and to cover the cost. But the program that we used, it was ACT. At the time, I was spending $100. It's a great program. It's every bit as good as this. Every bit as good as Gold. Different features, but every bit as good. So, anyway, pick a program, buy it, use it, and I mean this, and very few people actually follow this. Don't do anything else in your real estate career until you have one. And the reality is 85 to 90% of your colleagues out there are actively engaged in real estate and don't have one. And I don't get it. I just don't understand how we could do business. I just don't understand it. It's not possible. And again, if the cost is prohibitive right now, use Outlook. Okay? It's free. Karen was talking about Microsoft Outlook. It is a terrible contact management system, but it's better than nothing. Okay? It's better than nothing, and it's free. Okay, so you can use Outlook. As a matter of fact, that's another thing I haven't done. If you guys want to go through the pain of trying it out, if you want to go search on free contact management. Free contact management software. Don't you just love the internet?
It's amazing.
Fall in love with the CRM all over again. I don't know if this is free or not, but actually this Insightly one, very interested in that. I'd seen some stuff about this program. They're supposed to actually come in and do a demo for me. They got my attention. I can't imagine that this program is free, although it says sign up free. Something tells me that that's not exactly right. But Outlook is free. You guys can use Outlook. It's a little, like I say, it's not exactly what I think we need it to be. Sign up for a free account. Let's see what that means. No worries, you can use a silent email address, sign up, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like signing up here today, but looks like it has something to do with Google and Google Apps, which I think is great. I feel a little bit left behind. There's a lot of cool things that people are doing with Google and Google Apps. I'm not doing anything with Google and Google Apps. Actually, let me impress you or confuse the hell out of you. The three basic things that we've kind of talked about so far in the last 3 hours are, okay, you've got your contact, who are your people, what are the phone numbers, so on and so forth. You've got your email to track it and collect it to the people. You've got your calendar to schedule your appointments and all the rest of that. One of the cool things that this program does that, let me see if I can find here on the Cousins. Hopefully this is a good example. Let me just test something out real quick to make sure it does what I want it to do. It does, okay. All right, this is one of the things it does. We manage all of the houses we sell, we manage all of the properties we rent, everything we do within the system, whether it's real estate agents, selling properties, managing properties, all the rest of this, we do within the program. This is a property we rent, for example. So this just kind of show you the power of how this program works. The property we rent is listed here, La Casa. We have some pending things that we need to do with it. We have a history with it. We have a list of who the owners are. There's the owner. If I click on the owner, now I have all the owner's information and all of the stuff that we have to deal with her. Let me resize this just a little bit, make this easier to see. I have my tenant information here. And this is my tenant. I click on that, now I have all my tenant information. I have all my history with my tenant. I have all of the pending issues with the tenant. So on one screen, I can very quickly see the property, the owner, and the tenant. Click, 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 and they're all linked together. Now, if I had an open escrow, let me grab something here for Fanny. Find a good example. I'm gonna grab an old one. Okay, this is an asset manager. I just selected Armand Brunello. He was an asset manager. Actually, he's in jail right now. True story. He was an asset manager with Fannie Mae. You know why he's in jail? Because he was calling up real estate agents in Arizona and saying, hey, give me $10,000 and I'll give you listings with Fannie Mae. They did a sting on him and they burned him. I don't know how much time he's going to serve. I think he got sentenced to 2 years or something like that.
Just don't let him run for city council in Reno.
Yeah. Oh. But this is the cool part about how this is really what you can take this program and then you will not be able to live without it. Now this assumes that you're going to do some business, guys. Do we want to do some business? Okay.
Yes.
This is my asset manager. You notice over here, these are a bunch of property addresses. These are the properties that I sold for that asset manager. So they're all linked to him, and that's not all of them, just because there's a scroll bar here. Okay? All of these different properties I sold just for this one guy. So let's pretend I'm on the phone with him, and I've got a couple of these properties we're working on, and he says, hey Lance, what's going on with Harlan? So I can quickly go to Harlan, and I can take a look at what's going on. Now in this particular case, again, I know the system, you guys have to get, this is where tall grass that Steve's talking about. The new asset manager was Heather Stern, who was one of Armand's replacements. So I can very quickly find out that Harlan went from Armand to Heather. I can look at my previous asset managers, because sometimes they get assigned. Well, guess what? Previous, you know why? Because he's locked up. Cecilia Carter, who also had her hands into this project. And then I've got my agents here. My agents are going to tell me these are people, these 4 agents wrote an offer on Harlan. Okay? And I've got all of their information attached very easily, so I can very quickly, if I'm on the phone or if I want to take a look at what's going on with Harlan, I can say, here's my property, here's my asset managers, these are the people I used to work with, and these are the agents that wrote offers on that property. I also have an escrow tab. When the property went into escrow, these are the people I dealt with. Just because they wrote an offer didn't mean they got it accepted. These are who I'm dealing with when I go into escrow on Harlan. Danny Delgado was the accepted agent. Norberto Pena, he was the loan officer with Wholesale Capital Loans. Sean, I don't know who Sean is, but I can quickly click on Sean. Sean's name appears over here. Sean has very limited information. It says buyer, so I guess that was the buyer. Click on my pending, click on my history. Maybe that was just the buyer. We probably didn't represent Sean, so we probably just threw Sean in as just as a person of contact. Tegan Powell, LSI. This is the title company that was helping us on this deal. Teresa Delgado is actually Danny's wife, agent, and so we had contact with her. Vanessa Ramirez, who was Vanessa, apparently is another buyer. Okay, now again, you may say, wait a minute, Lance, no wonder you have 68,000 contacts in your database. You just got 2 people in there that you don't even know who they are, what you don't have any names, you don't have any phone numbers. Well, that's true, but I have information. And this is how cool this is. If I got a phone call from Vanessa Ramirez today, and I pulled her up, she would be linked to all of this. And I'd say, are you the same Vanessa Ramirez who bought that house on Harlan Drive? Oh, yeah, I am. Oh, cool. Okay? It's all linked together.
Nice.
Okay? On top of that, I can go back to my Harlan property. I can go over here to the links tab. I can click on the property master folder. And the property master folder has everything we ever did. Click, 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 okay? Everything we, matter of fact, before I do that, let me click on, there's a bunch of other tabs here. It's REO main tab. This property was assigned on August 6th of 2010, and it's not a typo. We closed escrow March 28th of 2012. Could have been in a rental program, it could have been in a variety of things. So this escrow closed on 2012. We listed it, so let me go back to that links tab. Now here we are 2 years later, wait, 3 years later, whatever it happens to be. Click on my property master folder. If anybody came to me and said, hey, I mean literally, I need to know what happened on that escrow. Well, what do you want to know? Well, I want a copy of the purchase contract. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. Here's a couple, we had a couple of canceled one. Here's a purchase addendum for the buyer Levant. Now let's click on it, see what we got. And what this is going to pull up is a PDF copy. The reason it's blacked out like that is because I'm on what's called terminal server and the resolution is set really low. But this is actually a copy of the Fannie Mae purchase addendum. Okay, I apologize because it's blacked out. I just it's a resolution issue. How about a copy of the termite report? Let's see if I got, or BPO. Here's the BPO that we did. Copy of the BPO. This is 2 years old. Here's my BPO. Click, 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 click. Super cool. Now what's even better, let's suppose, I had this happen before, let's suppose one of these agents, this is an agent, Adriana Hesford. You guys know Adriana? Good agent. Okay. She might call me up and say, Lance, I wrote an offer on Harlan Drive. And blah, 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 blah. I'm like, all right, let's see, Adriana. So I go back up to Harlan. I go back to my links tab. I go to my property master folder, up at the top. Well, actually not at the top. It's going to have offers somewhere. Maybe it's not going to have this for me. How embarrassing, right? I'm on such a roll and I don't get exactly what I want. A different tab here. Oh, I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. come on guys, gotta help me out here. There's an offers tab there. So I click on the offers tab. This will give me every offer that was ever written on that property. And it should also have the one by Adriana Hesford. There it is. Adriana Hesford, and the code we use is property address. The first name listed is the agent's last name. The second name listed is the buyer's last name. So agent Hesford, buyer Jimenez. So literally within a couple of seconds, I'm on the phone with Adriana, and she says, "Hey, it looks like this was scanned in upside down, but anyway. So here's her offer. Be nice if we kind of flip that around so we could see it better. So I've got the entire thing, completely electronic. I'm not carrying around files. I don't have any nonsense.
Wow.
Now this is
Nice.
all done within Goldmine. Okay? Now honestly, these other programs, Act and Top Producer, they don't do this. This is one of the reasons why I'm so committed and nailed into this particular program. But how cool is that if an agent literally, you know, just randomly calls me. Again, same thing with Cynthia Martinez, or actually this is her lender, but any one of these, they call me and say, "Do you have my offer? I want to see my offer." I'm at the pool in Vegas, so I pull it up and click, 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 click. It's done. We can go back to Armand. When we get back to Armand, more properties are going to pull up. Now my client calls me and says, "Hey Lance, I need some information on the next one." Now, Quiet Lane, for example. Now, there's a lot of properties out here. Well, what's the address for Armand? Well, the address is 11785. So I come up here, I type in 11785. It's going to pull up Quiet Court, Quiet Lane. There it is. Here's my information. Here's the deal. Here's the offers. How many offers do we have on Quiet Lane? I don't know. Give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 10 offers on Quiet Lane. What do you want to know about it? These were written 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I want to know about the lane written, or offer written by Mr. Wield or Weld. Okay, give me just a minute. Pull it up. It's going to give me a PDF copy of the offer. Slick.
Wow, yeah.
There's the entire offer. When was it submitted? What did it look like? Well, how much was the earnest money deposit? It was $2,000. The offer price was $200,000. It's going to close. They want 45 day escrow. All linked. Now again, this just doesn't happen by itself. This is, you know, there's a lot of effort and manpower and hours into building this type of thing. But the way the system, and again, I've been using this program for 18 years. Guys, this is old technology. This is the same type of technology. This program hasn't changed much in 18 years. The stuff they have is even more user-friendly and more accessible. It does all sorts of cool things. Very easy to search clients and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So I wanted to show you the same thing with, I'll just show you one more thing. Photos. You can link photos and flyers to a particular property, to a particular contact. So this says, oops, I clicked on the wrong one again. I'm sorry. Photo folder. So what did Quiet Lane? What did Quiet Lane in Riverside look like when I had this listing? Whatever it was, 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's pulling up a folder. It's trying to find it. It's moving slowly, but it's going to pull me up a folder. It's going to have a bunch of pictures of the property in there. Super, super slick. All of this is done as part of this. Now again, this is the contact management on the steroids. I'm just going to. Oh, looks like it's trying to come down here. Okay, it's actually trying to come up here. So here's some BPO photos. Looks like we did 5 BPOs on this property. Now let's see what the first one looked like. At least there's just exterior photos. I only have 3, so this was probably just a drive-by. Well, it looks like a gym. Yeah, it's a sweet one, huh? So, at any rate, all linked directly into the Quiet Lane contact within the system. Another cool thing this will do for you, you can hook this up to, this is not all the programs do this. Let's suppose you want to make a whole bunch of phone calls. You put your headset on, you hook your computer into your phone, you just click on phone 1, it'll dial the phone for you. okay? You can also have it set up, so it has to, the caller IDs have to be linked. But when your incoming phone call, Armand calls me, which is gonna be tough, but from that caller ID, he calls me, my phone rings, Armand contact pops up in Goldman from me, tells me, boom, Armand's calling you. And it literally pulls him up, it pulls his contact up, so you know that's the person calling, or at least that's the person with the caller ID who's doing that. These are some alarms. I'll take a second just to show you this. There's tracks that the system runs, and within the tracks, someone just ran a track that this tenant is moving out of one of my rental properties. I got a little note that says they're moving out. I can take a look at it. As a matter of fact, we'll close the class with this. Let me show you one other thing that this does. We'll take the last 5 minutes and I'll show you the power of the system. Let's pretend we just got a brand new listing, okay? And let's come back here. Let's close this. Let's pretend we got a new listing and we're gonna call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Main Street. Obviously we need to fill a whole bunch of other stuff, but just for demonstration's sake, I just created a brand new contact called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Main Street. Okay? And when you get a new listing, there's certain things that you want to do. So if William was here, I'd say start the clock. So somebody start the clock. Let's go to Tools. Let's go to Automated Processes. Let's go to Sign. And let's find a process. These are all, I won't go through all of these, I'll just pull up a sample. Here is a new listing, regular. Click OK. And all of these things magically just appeared on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Main Street. Okay? So stop the clock. I'm done. I'm going to say that was 23 seconds. Alright? So let's pull this over here. Okay, well, what do we need to do? Yeah, pull this, see this a little bit better. I'm basically looking at these items over here to the right. Well, when you take a new listing, what do you need to do? Well, you need to make a listing file. So there's an action that says, Drew, make a listing file. It's on his calendar right now. Input the listing into the multiple listing. Okay, what's our list price? I don't know. Well, I edit this. So, well, we just took this listing for $345. Okay, this is now changed. Drew, please enter the listing into the MLS for $345. And we need to order lawn service. Now, maybe we don't. Maybe the owner's taking care of that. So if I did, I would get rid of that. Order a septic if needed. Do you need to have a septic tank on every septic cert on every property that you list? No, because they don't all have septic certs. Do you know why I have an action that says order lawn service and order septic cert if needed? Because I've taken listings before that had a septic tank, and I didn't realize it, and I didn't know it, and I forgot about it, and it came back to bite me in the rear end later on. So now every listing I ever take, I have an action that says order septic, and what that does is that reminds me and my team, check to see if this property has a septic. If it does, let's talk about ordering it. If it doesn't, then at least we've reminded ourselves to do it. Turn on the water, the electric, and the gas. Not on every property. This assumes that this property is vacant and we need to take care of that. If the property is occupied, the people are living there, well, I don't need to do that. But this reminds me, do I need to do that? If I do, let's do it. Order the termite. We haven't talked about this in this class, but we'll talk about it in other classes. Remember what I said, we just took a listing, right? I've reminded myself to order the termite. Why do I remind myself to order the termite in the very beginning? Because I've taken a listing, I forgot to order the termite, I've got to close of escrow, I got caught with my pants down, and I screwed up the close of escrow. So now, every single time, I make sure I remind myself to order the termite. Take photos of the house, put on a lockbox, put on a combo, install a sign. There's more down there. So anyway, that took 30 seconds, and it's all on there. Now it's all sitting there on Drew's calendar waiting to go. Done. Or on my calendar, right? So this is the equivalent, your contact management system is the equivalent of an electronic checklist for you as well. So every time you take a listing, every time you sell a house, what do you need to do? All of that stuff can be done within your contact management system. It can get a little heavy. So, step one, pick one. Step two, start filling out your calendar. Step three, call me. Let's do a little bit of show and tell, and we'll see what you're doing. Okay, I could go on. I'm tired. You guys are probably tired of listening to me. I'll just close with the following: get yourself a contact management system. I don't care what it is. Okay, and if you don't have the ability, the time, the money at the time to order one of these, get a manual one. They have them. They have 3x5 card ones. It's not the best. I mean, we're talking like 1970 technology, but at least it's something. It's better than memo pads. Okay. All right. Any questions, or are we just exhausted? Because I am pooped. All right.
We're good.
Okay, guys.
Thanks, Lance.
Easy.
Thanks.
All right. Let's not forget to go back.